It's Thursday, August 6th. Today, fueling frustrations. A closer look at how elevated fuel prices are impacting the lives of Manitobans and why experts say there may be some modest relief on the horizon. Also today, an ounce of prevention. How an advanced facility plan for Winnipeg aims to protect the country from the threat of future pandemics. And sunlight on demand. Even in the dark, a U.S. company gets the green light to put a mirror in space. Sounds like sci-fi, but it's about to become reality. The debate over whether it's a bright idea. Your Morning Winnipeg starts right now. Good morning. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Daniel Halverson and Tandy Vera in on weather today. Thursday, we're tail end of the week finally, even though it's a short week. Ainsley's going to continue her tour around the world with Folklorama today. She's at the Irish Pavilion. She's going to be watching some dancing, checking out the food, and of course, learning how to pour a perfect pint of Guinness, which is quite the skill. So looking forward to that. Now, it has been a little bit of a cooler start to August. Are we expecting much of the same today, Tandy?
It's going to heat up today. We're going to have a high of 28 degrees, so quite intense heat on the rise for us, as well as some intense winds. So just keep that in mind when traveling about. It's 15 degrees right now, partly cloudy outside, winds gusting west-southwest at 15 kilometers per hour. The pressure is falling and the humidity is sitting at 81%. So yes, yesterday we had that 60% chance of light precipitation, which we did have for about 10 to 15 minutes. I was walking downtown about 5 p.m. There was some very light showers for us here. For today, we also do have that risk. I want to point over to the satellite image. As we can see, we have this low pressure system that's been building up, stalling actually since yesterday out in the west. That's likely to taper into the province. Some places up in the north are actually experiencing some light showers early this morning, so just something to keep in mind. We might too experience that, but in the late afternoon with the risk of a thunderstorm, according to Environment and Climate Change Canada. But yes, it's going to taper into the province, part of central Manitoba. Southern Manitoba, we might experience that rainfall as well in the early part of the evening, as well as the late part of the evening, but it will clear off after midnight. The winds, though, will increase, so you just want to keep that in mind. We have very intense winds on tap for us today, but eventually by Friday, it's going to be clearing. Friday morning, very clear, beautiful sunny days ahead of us. We might have some scattered precipitation in certain areas, so just keep that in mind as well, but mostly clear skies on tap for us. And looking to the rest of the week, we do have a high of 28 degrees today, tomorrow 23. So it's going to heat up today, but tomorrow it's going to be very nice mild temperatures and just sunshine on the way with very dry conditions. So a great time to go out and enjoy some pavilions.
Has the cost of filling up got you down? Well, according to a new CAA survey, rising gas prices are forcing many Manitobans to rethink how they drive, travel, and spend the summer. CTV's Joseph Bernacki explains.
In the middle of a busy summer, staff at Greenblade Lawn Care fill up from these tanks nearly every other day.
We spend very healthy 6 figures on fuel every year. Certainly this year it's gone up quite a bit.
And President Tim Muse says those costs could keep rising. After fertilizer and wages, fuel is their biggest expense. He says 50 trucks typically service 1,000 properties per day this time of year.
When your 3 biggest expenses are increasing substantially because of what's going on with events in the world, it's hard to start passing that. That results in a big hike for your customers. And of course, they don't want to see it. Nobody wants to see it, but we have no choice. We're going to have to.
Take a look at gas prices recorded on July 3rd, compared to 1 month later here at the same station on August 5th. Diesel pricing in Winnipeg has also spiked by more than 40 cents on average. Muse says Greenblade is slowly switching their fleet over from diesel to gasoline. Analysts at GasBuddy, however, say there could be some relief in sight if a new deal between the U.S. and Iran is reached this week.
We could see gasoline falling 10 to 20 cents a liter, and diesel prices could be falling very similar or slightly more than that 10 to 20 cents a liter. But there's still a lot of uncertainty.
Dehaan says attacks by Ukraine on Russian diesel refineries have also driven up fuel costs. As of Wednesday, the Canadian average for gasoline is 174.8 and diesel 218.3. Manitoba's averages remain close to that, clocking in at 174.7 and 209.6 respectively. A recent CAA Manitoba survey says these summer prices are forcing drivers to reconsider their habits and road trip plans. The survey found 6 out of 10 Manitobans are changing how they drive.
35% say that they are driving less for everyday needs as a result of these prices. 23% are cutting spending on other things, and another 23% are reducing or eliminating activities.
Joseph Bernacki, CTV News, Winnipeg.
Gas prices could spike again next month. The federal government could raise the federal fuel tax back up to 10 cents a litre for gas and 4 cents a litre for diesel after a temporary suspension. Well, it only took 2 days and storms in Manitoba and Saskatchewan to cost the insurance industry more than $840 million. According to the Insurance Bureau of Canada, the losses are from storms on June 9th and 10th. Over these 2 days, tornadoes, hail, powerful winds, torrential rains and flash floods battered both provinces, and it doesn't appear to be an anomaly. The Bureau says both the frequency and severity of extreme weather has increased in recent years. Officials say the surge in claims are putting pressure on the cost of insurance premiums, adding, while we can't control the weather, we can control our exposure to it.
And so that means building in the right places and in the right ways and keeping development out of high-risk areas. It means investing in climate-resilient infrastructure. Our cities face hundreds of billions of dollars of infrastructure deficit that has to be remedied.
The Bureau says when building in high-risk areas is unavoidable, community-level mitigation measures should be required, and it wants building codes and construction standards strengthened to ensure new homes are built with resilient features. And hundreds of new concerns related to fallen, damaged, or dangerous trees were reported to 311 over the weekend as high winds Sunday in Winnipeg caused additional work. The city says it received more than 1,300 related service requests since Thursday. Crews are prioritizing the most hazardous situations, like those where branches or trees are blocking roads or have fallen on houses or vehicles. It looks like Canadian pride is strong when it comes to buying booze.
We've done a good job replacing it with Canadian alternatives.
It's hard to feel like spending the little extra money people have these days on, a country full of politicians, business folks that really don't seem to, A, treat us with respect, or B, have perhaps more nefarious plans.
A new poll from Nanos done exclusively for CTV News shows just under 3/4 of Canadians, or 74%, are unlikely to buy American alcohol if it were to go back on the shelf. That's an increase from last year. Alberta and Saskatchewan are currently the only 2 provinces without bans on American alcohol. Canada-U.S. Trade Minister Dominic LeBlanc is in D.C. right now. Ottawa released these photos of him meeting with 2 Republican senators. U.S. President Donald Trump has said alcohol bans are one of the reasons behind new 50% tariffs set to take effect later this month. And there could soon be more flight delays out of the U.S. due to the heat. Parts of the United States and Europe have been sweltering under extreme temperatures this summer, and it's proving to be a challenge for airlines. That's because on really hot days, thinner air can make it harder for aircraft to get off the ground safely. Some airlines have already had to lighten the load by removing passengers or cargo or carrying less fuel. And researchers say climate change could make disruptions like this more common. A piece of a SpaceX 9 Falcon rocket appears to have crashed into the moon Wednesday morning, just as astronomers predicted. The second stage of the rocket that launched a pair of lunar landers has been drifting off course for the past year. The space debris was expected to crash into the lunar surface at 1:35 a.m. Central Time yesterday. A combination of solar activity and gravity accidentally put it on a collision course with our closest celestial neighbor. A legislative assembly building in central western Brazil had some unexpected and uninvited visitors. But how could you not want to welcome these guys in? A worker at the building captured this video of capybaras calmly roaming the halls. Apparently, this isn't the first time they've welcomed themselves in and around these government buildings. Capybaras are the world's largest rodents and are obviously pretty chill as well. And taking a look at the current traffic on Kenaston, chill out there as well. If you have any traffic tips to pass along, text them to us at 10400. And we're joined now by Ainsley McPhail, continuing her tour of Folklorama. What pavilion are you at this morning, Ainsley?
Well, from the Philippines to India and now Ireland. That is the beauty of Folklorama. And did you know that that stew is marinating overnight? So what that means is when we walked in, it smells immaculate. In 2 days, fun fact, 500 Irish beers, 7 liters of whiskey. Winnipeggers absolutely love the performances. They're super lively, and you get to learn a bit about the culture as well. When I say culture, I mean, look at this display of Celtic art. Now, we're going to get a bit of a history lesson coming up at 6:42. We're also going to look at the modern and present, everything from plants to humans when it comes to the Celtic art. Also, I mentioned the food. Don't you worry. There's a food segment. We also have live performances. And I'm going to learn how to pour the perfect Guinness. You're going to have to come to the pavilion to check it out yourself. And keep watching This Morning.
Thanks, Ainsley. And up on the rooftop is Tandy Vera. Another cool start to the day here in Winnipeg, but it's going to heat up, I expect, this afternoon.
Yes, it's going to heat up. Our high today is going to be 28 degrees, so quite intense heat on the go for us. So just keep that in mind when traveling about. It's 15 degrees right now, partly cloudy outside. Winds gusting west-southwest at 17 to 28 kilometers per hour. The pressure is falling, and the humidity is sitting at 82%. Across the province, it is a very cool start to the day. These chilly conditions, the winds will ramp up and increase. Right now in Portage, 14 degrees. Brandon, much cooler temperatures for them at 9 degrees. Dauphin at 15 degrees as well. I do want to put off note in Thompson, 13 degrees, but they're experiencing some light rain shower at the moment, according to Environment and Climate Change Canada. And that's due to that low pressure system that I mentioned earlier that's coming in from the west and will taper into parts of the province. So the northern communities might feel that earlier than us here in the south. So just keep that in mind when planning about your day. As well as in Churchill, 9 degrees, and they're experiencing some shallow fog right now. Also, according to Environment and Climate Change Canada, they had that as well yesterday. But for us, mostly cloudy conditions, increasing cloud coverage throughout the afternoon, and that's for the whole of the province, according to Environment and Climate Change Canada. We're taking a break right now, but we'll be back with more CTV Your Morning Winnipeg.
Weather is brought to you by Mr. Lube Plus Tires, proudly keeping Canadians rolling for 50 years.
The federal government has announced Winnipeg will be home to a brand new medical countermeasures lab.
A $267 million national facility that will strengthen Canada's capacity to develop vaccines, therapeutics, and diagnostic tools.
The facility is going to be built next to the National Microbiology Laboratory on Arlington. Folks working inside the new facility will be given the heavy task of finding new ways to treat public health issues before they become a crisis. Officials say this new facility won't be an industrial-sized assembly line for producing vaccines. Instead, it will be making small batches to be sent out for further testing.
They need high quality products to be able to use to go into that testing, and there just isn't much capacity available in Canada. So that's a real roadblock in Canadian researchers moving their ideas forward. And so this facility is unique in Canada in that it'll help alleviate that problem.
A $10 million design contract was awarded to Winnipeg-based Architecture 49. It's aiming for design work to be done by 2029, with construction starting the following year and eventually wrapping up in 2033. Well, it's going to be another hot and humid day in much of Atlantic Canada. People are doing what they can to keep cool.
It's pretty hot. Yeah. It's pretty hot. You get really warm when you're gardening up there in the sun. We have our umbrellas, but it gets pretty hot, yeah.
Community pools in the wharf were popular spots yesterday as temperatures soared. People can expect similar conditions today with yellow level heat warnings in New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, and PEI. It's now possible to walk or cycle your way into the United States.
We stand on guard.
This was the scene yesterday as a multi-use path on the new Gordie Howe International Bridge officially opened. Long lines formed on both sides of the border, with people hoping to be among the historic first group to access the pedestrian and cycling trail. Many see it as a symbol of unity for the two countries, and the first American to cross into Windsor using the path was gifted an overnight stay and dinner voucher to return to Canada for another experience. The pathway is free to access, but those who cross will still need a passport or Nexus card. It sounds like science fiction, a giant mirror in space illuminating the night. But that's exactly what a U.S.-based company wants to do. And as CTV's Danton Unger reports, the project is causing concern.
Delivering sunlight on demand with a constellation of satellites. That's the goal of Reflect Orbital.
With control over sunlight, solar energy can power the world forever.
The U.S.-based space startup says its satellites will be able to transform into giant mirrors, reflecting a 5-kilometer wide beam of sunlight that could illuminate disaster response areas, boost the agricultural sector, and energize solar farms after dark. It hopes to have over 50,000 satellites in orbit by 2035.
This is like comic book villain plots or something like that.
Manitoba Museum Planetarium astronomer Scott Young is not shy about his concerns with the project.
So this will completely kill astronomy, not just amateurs who just love looking at the sky, but also research astronomy, because one of these satellites going over a big telescope will pretty much fry the camera.
Those concerns extend beyond the world of astronomy.
The risks really seem to me to outweigh any possible benefit.
Danielle Pahoud, the director of the U of M's Lockhart Planetarium, worries these solar spotlights could impact human sleep and health, create more light pollution, and throw off nocturnal wildlife that relies on the night sky.
Nighttime as we know it will be gone, and it will have a devastating impact on our ecosystem, and it's all interconnected.
Reflect Orbital tells CTV News it's committed to ongoing dialogue and has commissioned third-party research on the impacts of its technology, including environmental impact assessments, adding its service will be targeted and customers will require permits to receive it. It seems the world may soon see at least one of these satellites in action. The U.S. Federal Communications Commission has given the green light to test this project, and Reflect Orbital plans to launch a satellite later this year. Danton Unger, CTV News, Winnipeg.
The water bus is back on the river for the first time this year.
We always need to wait until the water allows us to offer the water bus.
Winnipeg Waterways says service was delayed this year because of changing water levels, debris, and strong currents on the Assiniboine River. Now that the river is settling, the company is launching the service this weekend. It has stops at 5 docks connecting Corden, the Forks, Exchange District, Norwood, and Taché.
It's been coming down. It's come down consistently, and it's finally at a point where we can reliably offer this service.
This year, the service will include a larger boat, allowing it to carry more people. Along with the hop-on and off water bus, Winnipeg Waterways also offers a scenic boat tour service, which has been cruising on the river since the spring. Some road closures to remind you about this morning. On Furby Street, the north and southbound curb lanes will be closed from Sargent to Ellis Avenue. The southbound curb lane on Sherbourne Street will be closed between Grundy and Notre Dame Avenue. And following the rush, the westbound curb lane on Grant Avenue will be closed from Kenaston to Edgeland Boulevard. If you have any traffic tips, pass them along to us at 10400.
The CTV Live Eye is brought to you by Bath Fitter, your bath and shower experts for more than 40 years.
15 degrees right now, partly cloudy outside, winds gusting west-southwest at 17 to 28 kilometers per hour. The pressure is falling and the humidity is sitting at 82%. So yes, 15 degrees, cool start to the day, not as cool as it was yesterday. Looking across the province, we have Brandon at 9 degrees, so quite chilly for them. Dauphin at 15 degrees with Swan River at 12 degrees. Gimli currently at 14 degrees and Kenora at 16 degrees. The Morden and Winkler area at 16 degrees, so 1 degree just above us here in Winnipeg. Flin Flon at 13 degrees. Thompson at 13 degrees. They're experiencing some light rain shower according to Environment and Climate Change Canada. Churchill at 9 degrees, so very chilly start for them, with Island Lake as well at 14 degrees and Lynn Lake at 13 degrees. Now looking at our satellite image, not too much to show you right now for this morning. There is a low pressure system that's out there in the west that's likely to taper into Winnipeg today and most of the province, so we do have that 60% chance of precipitation in the late afternoon, as well as that risk of a thunderstorm. But by the time it's 8 a.m. today, it's going to be about 17 degrees, those winds gusting southwest at 15 kilometers per hour, but that heat is going to ramp up, 27 degrees in the afternoon, as well as the wind will ramp up as well, winds gusting southwest anywhere between 30 to 50 kilometers per hour, and in the evening time 27 degrees as well, but that's when we have that risk of a thunderstorm and that 60% chance of light precipitation in the form of showers or light rain. So just keep that in mind when traveling about. out and planning out your day. I also do want to make a mention that Environment and Climate Change Canada notes that the winds will increase in the evening time as well, anything between 40 to 60 kilometers per hour, then reduced to about 20 by midnight. And looking to the rest of the week, today our high 28 degrees, tomorrow 23, mostly sunny conditions on the go for us with sunshine on the way and a few cloud coverage in between, but mid temperatures to say the least. Looking at our beautiful Skywatch pick of the day from Alan. How cute as a button is this bunny? Love the pictures. Please keep them coming at winnipegweather@ctv.ca. We're taking a break right now, but don't go anywhere. CTV Your Morning Winnipeg is on the other side.
The grandparent scam has been around for years, but now criminals are extending it to all family members, hoping to catch you off guard. They're also using AI so the person's voice on the phone may sound just like that of your loved one. Here's CTV's Pat Foran.
And he said, "It's Mike." He used my brother's name.
Angie McCaw of Smith Falls is close with her brother Mike, so when it appeared he was in trouble, she wanted to help. She got a phone call from someone who sounded just like him.
I said, "Mike, what's wrong?" And he told me that he'd been in this accident and had a broken nose, and he was found fault because he hit somebody from behind.
McCaw says another person came on the line claiming to be a lawyer who said Mike needed money for bail or he would spend the night in a jail cell.
I actually went to the bank and withdrew $6,000.
A courier was sent to her home to pick up the cash. Then McCaw was called back and told Mike was being sued and she needed to send more money for his legal defense.
I made a mistake and went into the bank and withdrew another $6,250 from a line of credit.
After McCaw handed over more than $12,000 to the courier, she decided to call her brother to ask him if he was ready to go to trial.
And he said, "Angie, I don't have a lawyer. There's been no car accident. There's nothing of this has happened. You've been scammed."
In an earlier interview with CTV News, a cybersecurity expert said criminals need just a small sample of a person's voice to clone it. They're then able to impersonate someone and sound just like them.
What they can do just by getting about 10 seconds of anyone's voice, they can recreate that voice to sound exactly like that person.
To avoid the family emergency scam, beware of urgent demands for bail or legal fees, and if the caller wants secrecy and says not to tell anyone. Never allow an in-person pickup of money at your home. Use a code word only your family knows, and if in doubt, call the family member directly at a trusted number. McCaw has mixed emotions about what happened to her, but wanted to warn others.
At first, I felt relief that he wasn't really in trouble. Then I felt really angry, because I'd been taken advantage of and I knew it.
Pat Foran, CTV News.
This next story certainly isn't par for the course.
Saw it hit the green and we were like, whatever. So we just walked up, tried to get up there as quick as possible. There was a bunch of people waiting at the clubhouse for us. So they all saw it draw. All they saw me take it out of the hole. Nobody saw it drop. I picked up the ball and nobody believed me at first. Like I started freaking out.
We were at loss for words, as I am still now, and we're in absolute shock.
So here's what happened. 17-year-old Aiden Bahari was golfing in Northern Ontario last week at Highview Golf Course when he got not just one hole-in-one, but two on back-to-back holes. He only started golfing 3 years ago. Officials at the golf course say in the club's 40-year history, they've never had one person or even the same group hit back-to-back holes-in-one. And a quick look at traffic out there on Provencher, moving along well. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more Your Morning Winnipeg.
Degrees right now, partly cloudy outside, winds gusting west-southwest at 17 to 28 kilometers per hour. The pressure is falling and the humidity is sitting at 82%. So very nice cool start to the day. Not much to show you in our satellite image besides low pressure system building up just west of us. That's likely to taper into the province. In fact, right now in Thompson, they're experiencing some light rainfall according to Environment and Climate Change Canada. But for Winnipeg today on the go, our high is going to be 28 degrees, so quite intense heat, a bit bit of a break from that coolness that we had. Winds gusting southwest 30 to 50 kilometers per hour. We do have that 60% chance of light precipitation in the form of rainfall, according to Environment Climate Change Canada, in the later part of the afternoon. Also, those clouds will increase throughout the day. So yes, we're going to have some sunshine earlier this morning, but the clouds will increase. So it's going to be a bit of a cloudy day outside. 13 degrees by the time it's evening time. Those winds will ramp up and increase. Winds gusting northwest 40 to 60 kilometers per hour. Environment and Climate Change Canada do note that the winds will change to about 20 kilometers per hour after midnight. So the winds will decrease eventually, but also mainly cloudy skies for us. But tomorrow, 23 degrees is going to be our high, and it's going to be mostly sunny. So sunshine on the go for us, with winds gusting northwest at 20 kilometers per hour. So a beautiful day to go out. Maybe check out some pavilions. It'll be a nice mixed bag of cool and not too hot. So perfect time to go out and take a walk. The rest of the week, it's mostly sunshine on the go with very, very dry conditions. Mostly mid-average temperatures between the 24, ranging from 24 to 25 degrees for us here in Winnipeg. So as you plan out your week, just keep that of note.
The union representing Winnipeg transit workers is speaking out after one of its members was allegedly stabbed with a needle.
A driver this morning, he was driving his bus en route, and when he was stopped at William and Isabel, a passenger just came up before getting off the bus and literally stabbed him twice.
James Van Gerwen, the president of the ATU, says it's just the latest violent transit incident reported to the union. Van Gerwen is calling for fully enclosed shields to be installed to protect drivers. A statement from the city of Winnipeg says since 2017, it's spent more than $9.6 million on transit safety. It says shields will be included in its 2027 budget submission.
Our drivers are frustrated. They're feeling unsafe, and you know, it's going to affect the amount of members we have to drive the bus.
Winnipeg Police tell CTV News it's aware of the incident and will be providing further information at a later date. Thousands have been evacuated or are on alert in British Columbia, where wildfires have already destroyed more than 300 homes. As the flames intensify, so does the battle to contain them. Here's CTV's Andrew Johnson.
After surveying the smoking remains of his community from the sky, the chief of the Okanagan Indian Band says it's difficult to put into words what's been lost.
On that flight, I couldn't recognize my community. It looked like a war zone.
Chief Wilson believes the fire has destroyed more than 200 homes.
To see longtime elders that I've known all my life, the look on their faces because of their homes that were lost, really broke my heart.
He says the enormity of the emotional blow is only just beginning to sink in.
It's actually a grieving process. It's like somebody died, and somebody did die, those memories.
Wilson says some people only had 5 minutes to get out. Among them, Kevin Statham, who says he barely escaped a 12-meter wall of flames. He no longer has a home to go back to.
We lost everything. It's gone. It was my dad's house. It wasn't just mine. It's bad.
Retired firefighter Jeff Moore was forced to watch from the water as his lakeside Okanagan cabin burned to the ground.
It was a nut show in there. There was bombs going off everywhere, people having a lot of propane, vehicles exploding, all sorts of things. It was just a crazy time.
A couple of 100 kilometers to the northwest, near Clinton, another 100 buildings or more have been destroyed. Around the province, more than 11,000 properties are either evacuated or on alert. In Metro Vancouver and the Fraser Valley, the smoke is leading to air quality advisories affecting millions. A situation overall officials describe as extremely dangerous.
Dangerous not only for people living in the affected communities. Yesterday, a helicopter being used to fight one of the more than 100 fires in the province crashed into a lake. Fortunately, the pilot survived and was sent to the hospital with minor injuries. Andrew Johnson, CTV News, Vancouver.
Meantime, firefighters are reporting progress fighting fires in Washington state. Fires near Spokane have burned down hundreds of buildings and forced out tens of thousands of people. Crews were able to take advantage of some cooler weather to gain ground on controlling the fires. They're now working to secure those gains before hot and dry weather return. A new round of U.S. tariffs are set to kick in less than 2 weeks, and Prime Minister Mark Carney says negotiations are happening. Carney said Canada's tone towards the United States States is already quite firm and insisted trade negotiations with Washington remain constructive. This as we learn the value of Canada's trade with the U.S. has dropped by almost $2 billion since early 2024. The new 50% tariffs would apply to a wide range of Canadian imports starting August 19th. But unlike previous measures, there would be no exemptions for goods covered by CUSMA. And an update now on an RCMP anti-fraud pilot program that targets transnational organized crime networks. It has recovered nearly 400 stolen vehicles so far. Since the program started last summer, 392 stolen vehicles have been recovered. They're valued at an estimated $28 million. The increase in vehicle finance fraud contributed to an estimated $900 million in insurance losses last year. The RCMP partnered with several organizations, including the Canada Border Services Agency, which intercepted nearly 1,600 vehicles in rail yards and ports in 2025. Seizures were made in Halifax, Montreal, Vancouver, and Toronto. Now we'll spice things up with a story about Dijon mustard. The condiment is serious business in the Burgundy region of France. Shops in the area have been making Dijon mustard for almost 100 years, and they're always looking for ways to keep things fresh. They now offer truffle, gingerbread, even cocoa-flavored mustard. Burgundy has also given its Dijon protected status. Only mustard made with local seeds and using Burgundy white wine qualifies. Taking a look at Confusion Corner there, slowly starting to pick up. Pass those traffic tips to us at 10,400. And taking a look at your gas prices here in Winnipeg, the average is $1.70 and the lowest price in the city is $1.61. All this information is on GasBuddy.com.
The Price at the Pump is brought to you by the Kidney Foundation. Help by donating your card today.
And a look back at Confusion Corner there. We have lots coming up in the show. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more Your Morning Winnipeg.
Weather is brought to you by the Better Business Bureau. Research at bbb.org before you buy.
Beautiful, cool start to the day. Actually quite refreshing. It's not too cold and not too hot. It's 15 degrees right now. Winds gusting west-southwest at 17 to 28 kilometers per hour. The pressure is falling and the humidity is sitting at 82%. Today we have this mixed bag of cloud coverage as well as some sunshine in the mix. That's what we have in store for us for most of the province. I do want to note right now in Brandon, it's quite chilly, 9 degrees. Thompson earlier, 13 degrees. It was raining, very light rain shower at about 6 a.m. and about 6:25. I checked out Environment and Climate Change Canada's website and they already updated it. The rain had stopped. So that's kind of what we could have on the go for us here in southern Manitoba. We do have that 60% chance, but it could be very short bursts of rainfall. In fact, yesterday I took a walk downtown around 5 p.m. and there was a bit of light rainfall for about 10 minutes and then it stopped. So that's what we could expect for us for the rest of the day. So just keep that in mind when planning out the rest of your day. We're heading over to Ainsley right now to see what she's up to at these beautiful pavilions. Hey Ainsley, how's it going?
Good morning, happy Folklorama, Manitoba. We're in Ireland, the Irish Pavilion, beloved for over 50 years. Joanne and Ellie by my side to talk all about it. You've been here for over a decade too, so tell us about this year.
This year our theme is Celtic art, which is all displayed behind you. It's been around from 1800, or 800, not 1800, 800. And as you can see, it's all intricate.
There's so many themes to it too, which is so interesting. Lots of colors that we're having a look at now. Is there any favorite part of the pavilion?
I do love our cultural center, but the food is amazing. Our first show, 6:15, we usually have a lineup going around. So if you want to have a great meal, come early. And yes, lots of traditional cooking, lots of great dishes. Cool Cannon's my favorite.
Which one?
The Cool Cannon.
Oh, what is that? Sorry.
It's kind of like a mashed potato, but there's onion, bacon, but you can get it without bacon.
Okay.
So good.
So good. Okay. Beverages, of course. Pub life, part of the Irish culture. Lots of people enjoying the beverages this year, too.
Yes, we have two specials this year, which you'll taste later. One is called the McIlroy, after Rory McIlroy, the golfer. And the other one we have called this year the Mayo All-Star, because Mayo won the All-Ireland Gaelic football final, first time in 75 years. So we're interested to see what people love about it.
No doubt. Something else that people love is the performances. Very lively.
Very, very lively. Very energetic. The girls are amazing. They're so fit. I couldn't even get up on the stage and hold a candle to them. Like, they are so fit. And like, they're doing this 3-4 times a night. I am so proud of them.
Well, I was going to ask you to do a demonstration, but...
Not a hope. Not a hope.
All right, fair enough. I hope you guys do come to this pavilion. It's one of 44 for Folklorama. Thousands of people taking part in Folklorama. We've got more coming up after the break.
A look at the early markets. The Dow Jones is 145 points up. The Nasdaq fell 140 points. The S&P index had small gains. The loonie is set to 71.38 cents U.S. Overseas, the Hang Seng dropped 385 points, and the Nikkei lost 617 points. A man who was drunk when he struck and killed 2 cyclists in Winnipeg last September has been sentenced to 8 years in prison. Kuldeep Singh Gill was arrested a few hours after the crash on Kenniston Boulevard. He had fled the scene of a high-speed collision that killed 31-year-old Igor Popov and his common-law partner, 25-year-old Carrie Bonner. Provincial Court Associate Chief Judge David Ireland rendered the sentence Tuesday. Gill previously pleaded guilty in February to 2 counts of impaired driving, causing death, and 2 counts of leaving the scene of a fatal crash. Both Popov and Bonner died from multiple blunt force injuries sustained in the collision, leaving their then 9-month-old daughter orphaned. Gill, who is a permanent resident born in India, has a previous impaired driving conviction in Manitoba. He will receive credit for 33 days already served. He will, according to what was revealed in court, likely face deportation. An update now to a story we brought you earlier this summer. The provincial government is threatening to appoint an official trustee to the Hanover School Division to enforce the mature minor doctrine. Under it, youth 16 and older are automatically assumed to have the maturity to make medical decisions for themselves. In June, Hanover trustees unanimously voted to stop honoring it. The decision sparked pushback, with some arguing it robs young people of the ability to make their own health care decisions. In a letter to board chair Dallas Wiebe, Education Minister Tracy Schmidt said, while school divisions do have the authority to develop their own local policies, those policies must comply with existing legislation. Schmidt says the mature minor doctrine is enshrined in the Public Health Act and is upheld by common law. She went on to write, quote, your presumed knowledge of your legal and constitutional responsibilities would lead a reasonable observer to conclude you passed this motion at best for public attention and at worst to pick a fight. And quote, we encourage you to focus on the education of children in your division and leave the healthcare policy development to the healthcare experts. CTV News has contacted the Hanover School Division for a response. We are still waiting to hear back. However, in a written statement shortly after the board passed the motion, Chair Dallas Wiebe said the board heard concerns from parents regarding trust, communication, and transparency, and those principles were important to maintaining public trust in the education system. Another candidate has entered Winnipeg's mayoral race. Zachary Uminski is the 10th person to officially register their candidacy. Uminski is an electrician by trade who was born and raised in Winnipeg. Among his list of priorities is addressing homelessness, speeding up housing projects, and supporting the city's firefighters. Election day is October 28th. 3 high-profile downtown Winnipeg buildings are up for sale. The Collier's real estate listing offers the Somerset Building and Metropolitan Entertainment Center for sale separately or as part of a campus package deal along with the Radisson Hotel. The properties are currently owned by Canadians Corporation. No price is given in the listing, but the city has assessed the Radisson's value at $22.3 million. The Somerset is assessed at $9.7 million and the Met at nearly $2 million. Well, this helicopter pilot had some errands to take care of and basically asked, why drive when I could fly? This was in Milwaukee. He landed in the parking lot of a Cabela's store over the weekend. When police asked why he done it, he said, well, the drive was too long. He apparently complied with all regulations, was properly licensed, and made a safe landing, so he wasn't ticketed. And floral arrangements are at the center of this year's flower parade in Columbia. check out all of these arrangements lining up the streets. The goal of the annual parade is to keep local culture alive. The event began July 31st and goes until August 9th. Some road closures to remind you about this morning on Furby Street. The north and southbound curb lanes will be closed from Sergeant Tellis Avenue. The southbound curb lane on Sherburne Street will be closed between Grundy and Notre Dame Avenue. And following the rush, the westbound curb lane on Grant Avenue will be closed from Kenniston to Edgeland Boulevard.
15 degrees right now, partly cloudy outside, winds gusting west-southwest at 17 to 28 kilometers per hour. The pressure is falling and the humidity is sitting at 82%. Looking at our satellite image this morning, not too much to show you besides that low pressure system building just west of us that's likely to taper into the province. Some places actually experienced some light rainfall this morning, Thompson to be included. But looking at the highs that we have for us across the province, step out of the way here for a moment. Churchill, a high of 17 degrees and mostly sunny skies for them. Thompson at 17 degrees with that chance of light precipitation, as well as an island lake with a high of 19 degrees. So very cool temperatures for them. 17 degrees in Lynn Lake, also that light precipitation chance according to Environment and Climate Change Canada. 16 degrees in Flin Flon with rain as well. Norway House at 17 degrees, pardon me, and the Pa at 16 degrees as well. Looking into Swan River, 19 degrees. It's going to be quite windy for them today. Dauphin at 23 degrees with that mix of sun and cloud. Brandon 27 degrees, so quite intense heat, same as here in Winnipeg, and they're going to have that mixture of sun and cloud. They also do have that risk of light precipitation according to Environment Climate Change Canada. Here in Winnipeg, 28 degrees. We have a risk of a thunderstorm in the late part of the afternoon, so just keep that of note. 21 degrees in Barons River with that risk of a thunderstorm as well, and same in Steinbach with a high of 28 degrees. In the Morden Winkler area, 29 degrees, so quite intense heat for a lot of us in southern Manitoba on the go. Looking into east of us, Red Lake 24 degrees and Kenora 26 degrees with Dryden at 27 degrees. So quite intense heat on the go for them as well. Looking at our 7-day forecast, as I said, today our high is 28 degrees. Tomorrow 23 degrees. So it's going to be much milder, much cooler, but still sunshine on the way and mostly dry conditions for the rest of the week and sunshine only. So beautiful time to go out and check out those pavilions.
Let's check in now on the team at 103.1 Virgin Radio. Chrissy and Lloyd, good morning, you two.
Hi, good morning.
Now, Chrissy,
So,
I've been spending most of my summer in this chair. You've been kind of all over the province. You were in Churchill a few weeks ago, you were in Gimli for the Icelandic Festival, and you were just in Flin Flon as well just last week.
Yeah, so I'm very, very lucky. I work with Travel Manitoba on a podcast that's called Been There, Never Done That. The first season's out now. You can listen to it wherever you get your podcasts. And so really we're talking to people who are in the tourism industry, why they got into tourism, some of the challenges they face, and why they love the province so much. So last week in Flin Flon, northern Manitoba, I spent some time at Ravens Hollow Eco Dome Resort with Carmen and Darren. They are fantastic people. They offer goat walks on the edge of White Lake. It's really, really cool.
Love it.
And then they've got these eco domes in these very, very peaceful surroundings high up in the trees. And then went to Baker's Narrows Lodge, and a lot of people are very familiar with Baker's Narrows Lodge already. I spent some time with Brody, who is third generation family that is now looking after the place. So Baker's Narrows Lodge is a fishing and a family resort. You want to get away, and if you want to catch Lakers, that's where you go, is Baker's Narrows Lodge. And then also, I was really, really excited about the opportunity to go spend time at Big Island Drive-In. So one of only 3 drive-in theaters in the province. They'll actually celebrate their 70th anniversary next year. So Dawn and Dan are the couple who run Big Island Drive-In. They are so fun. They are so creative. And they have something really special going with the Big Island Drive-In. So here's the thing. I'm washing the window before I'm watching the actual show.
Oh, yeah, good idea.
Flin Flon actually celebrates their 100th anniversary next year. So maybe not this year, not the chance for you to get up there because, you know, you're running short on time, but making a trip to Flin Flon next summer, you should definitely consider it. And yeah, the new season of the podcast will be coming out later this year.
Love it. And I'd love to hear more about the goat tours when we have a chance. Have a good day, guys. A man on Vancouver Island is spreading magic by pushing the boundaries of the mundane. It all started when his security camera recorded something that made him look twice. CTV's Adam Sawatsky explains.
Before he ever imagined seeing something magical, Steve Macbeth installed security cameras to be purely practical.
Able to see who's been wandering around your place. This cat visits pretty much every night. And
whenever the camera is triggered, Steve immediately gets a notification on his phone saying if it's a human or an animal.
All sorts of critters are constantly moving past it.
But there have been a couple times when the camera captured people.
The person that walked through the front yard had actually done some break-ins that same evening.
So when he got a similar notification the other night, Steve feared the worst.
And it said that it saw a person.
And what was the person doing?
Well, it wasn't a person.
And it wasn't one of the usual animals either.
It was unlike anything I've ever seen before.
It appeared in the left corner of the screen, a bright white dot that suddenly turned and flew straight at the camera.
Well, it looked kind of humanoid.
It looked, Steve thought, supernatural.
Like it was a shimmering silver color.
A fairy.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
While that magical moment was quickly replaced by a mundane explanation, it was still wonderful.
I just thought that other people would have a kick out of it as well.
So Steve took the time to post the fairy video on his local community page.
The very first one was a guy that said a rolled up newspaper would take care of that.
But after that, more than a couple people mentioned Tinkerbell. Hundreds expressed their gratitude, and tens of thousands watched the magic unfold.
Just stunned with the response to this.
But even better is seeing this video of one of his granddaughters, Isabel, watching the fairy footage for the first time, in awe.
Always remember the time their goofy old granddad got himself on TV because of the fly that flew by his security camera.
Or they will never forget that time their couldn't-be-more wonderful granddad made the effort to make his world, if just for a moment, feel like magic.
Oh, just to look for things that are unusual in life. You never know where something like that is going to pop up and be a bit of fun.
Adam Sawatsky, CTV News, Esquimalt.
Beautiful start to the day outside. Traffic moving well on Notre Dame Avenue. We're going to take a short break, but we'll be right back with more CTV Your Morning Winnipeg. It's Thursday, August 6th. Today, pain at the pumps, how volatile gas prices are impacting the way Manitobans spend their summer. Plus, keeping it Canadian, what is the general sentiment when it comes to buying American booze? And back on the river, when Winnipeggers will be able to take a ride on the water bus. Your Morning Winnipeg starts right now. Good morning, I'm Daniel Halverson, joined by Tandy Vera on weather. Thanks for spending your Thursday morning with us. We have a great show ahead. Ainsley, of course, is at Folklorama yet again. She's been to the Philippines, India, and today Ireland. And coming up a little later this hour, she's going to show us how to pour the perfect pint of Guinness. And then coming up at 7:52, we're going to learn about an upcoming golf tournament that's supporting addiction recovery in our province. Really important conversation there. And we've had a few cool days to start the month of August, but it's going to heat up today, isn't it?
Yes, it's going to heat up. It's going to be a hot one today, but also a very windy one. So just keep that of note when traveling about. We're going to have a high of 28 degrees, but currently it's 15 degrees, partly cloudy outside, winds gusting west-southwest at 17 to 28 kilometers per hour. The pressure is falling and the humidity is sitting at 82%. So yes, beautiful day to go out today, but we still have that risk of a thunderstorm according to Environment and Climate Change Canada in the later part of the afternoon, as well as a 60% chance of precipitation. And that is due to this low pressure system that's coming in west of us that's likely to taper into the province. In fact, some places earlier this morning received some light rainfall, specifically in the Thompson area, and that's due to that low pressure system here that tapered into parts of the north. For us here in Winnipeg, we could experience that. It could be short bursts of rain. I would say yesterday when I was outside, it lasted about 10 minutes, about 5 p.m. So we could experience that today. But looking ahead for what we have in store in our futurecast, it will taper into parts of the province, central Manitoba, as well as parts of southern Manitoba. But by the time it's tomorrow morning, it will be clear for us here in mostly southern Manitoba. So clearing and sunshine on the go and mostly clear skies for us. But again, some places might receive some scattered precipitation. So just something to keep of note. Grab that umbrella, grab that raincoat just in case, because Mother Nature can switch up at any moment. But as you can see, here are the little scattered precipitations that could be happening for some parts of central Manitoba. But for us, it's mostly going to be clear conditions here in the south. So it's a great time to go out and enjoy the temperatures. 28 degrees, as I mentioned, our high today, with that risk of a thunderstorm later on. Tomorrow, 23 degrees, so quite milder temperatures. Our seasonal average is about 26, so 3 degrees shy from that. And the rest of the week, we just have sunshine on the go with beautiful weather to go out and enjoy. Looking at our beautiful weather art of the day from Mila, 7 years old. I love this. So foxy. Keep the pictures coming, please. To submit your child's art of the day, visit our website, ctvnewswinnipeg.ca, and fill out the form. Your art can be shown on Your Morning Winnipeg, and we'll also enter you into our monthly contest for a chance to win a $100 gift card from Crockadoodle on Keniston and Regent locations.
The Weather Art of the Day is brought to you by Crockadoodle Paint Your Own Pottery, now open on Regent and Keniston.
Has the cost of filling up got you down? Well, according to a new CAA survey, rising gas prices are forcing many Manitobans to rethink how they drive, travel, and spend the summer. CTV's Joseph Bernacki explains.
In the middle of a busy summer, staff at Greenblade Lawn Care fill up from these tanks nearly every other day.
We spend a very healthy 6 figures on fuel every year. Certainly this year it's gone up quite a bit.
And President Tim Muse says those costs could keep rising. After fertilizer and wages, fuel is their biggest expense. He says 50 trucks typically service 1,000 properties per day this time of year.
Your 3 biggest expenses are increasing substantially because of what's going on with events in the world. It's hard to start passing that. That results in a big hike for your customers. And of course, they don't want to see it. Nobody wants to see it, but we have no choice. We're going to have to.
Take a look at gas prices recorded on July 3rd, compared to 1 month later here at the same station on August 5th. Diesel pricing in Winnipeg has also spiked by more than 40 cents on average. Muse says Greenblade is slowly switching their fleet over from diesel to gasoline. Analysts at GasBuddy, however, say there could be some relief in sight if a new deal between the U.S. and Iran is reached this week.
We could see gasoline falling 10 to 20 cents a liter, and diesel prices could be falling very similar or slightly more than that 10 to 20 cents a liter. But there's still a lot of uncertainty.
Dehaan says attacks by Ukraine on Russian diesel refineries have also driven up fuel costs. As of Wednesday, the Canadian average for gasoline is 174.8 and diesel 218.3. Manitoba's averages remain close to that, clocking in at 174.7 and 209.6 respectively. A recent CAA Manitoba survey says these summer prices are forcing drivers to reconsider their habits and road trip plans. The survey found 6 out of 10 Manitobans are changing how they drive.
35% say that they are driving less for everyday needs as a result of these prices. 23% are cutting spending on other things, and another 23% are reducing or eliminating activities.
Joseph Bernacki, CTV News, Winnipeg.
Gas prices could spike again next month if the federal government raises the federal fuel tax back up to 10 cents a liter for gas and 4 cents a liter for diesel after a temporary suspension. Meantime, the federal government has announced Winnipeg will be home to a brand new medical countermeasures lab.
A $267 million national facility that will strengthen Canada's capacity to develop vaccines, therapeutics, and diagnostic tools.
The facility is going to be built next to the National Microbiology Laboratory on Arlington Street. Folks working inside the new facility will be given the heavy task of finding ways to treat public health issues before they become a crisis. Officials say this new facility won't be an industrial-sized assembly line for producing vaccines. Instead, it will be making small batches to be sent out for further testing.
They need high-quality products to be able to use to go into that testing, and there just isn't much capacity available in Canada. So that's a real roadblock in Canadian researchers moving their ideas forward. And so this facility is unique in Canada in that it'll help alleviate that problem.
A $10 million design contract was awarded to Winnipeg-based Architecture 49. It's aiming for design work to be done by 2029, with construction starting the following year and eventually wrapping up in 2033. Well, it looks like Canadian pride is strong when it comes to buying booze.
Done a good job replacing it with Canadian alternatives.
It's hard to feel like spending the little extra money people have these days on, a country full of politicians, business folks that really don't seem to, A, treat us with respect, or B, have perhaps more nefarious plans.
A new poll from Nanos done exclusively for CTV News shows just under 3/4 of Canadians, 74%, are unlikely to buy American alcohol if it were to go back on the shelf. That's an increase from last year. Alberta and Saskatchewan are currently the only two provinces without bans on American alcohol. The Canada-U.S. Trade Minister, Dominic LeBlanc, is in D.C. right now. Ottawa released these photos of him meeting with two Republican senators. U.S. President Donald Trump has said alcohol bans are one of the reasons behind new 50% tariffs set to take effect later this month. This story of escape started as a baby bear sighting.
Stop. It's a tiny little baby. It is so cute.
This family in Tennessee first noticed a cub standing on top of their Jeep. They then realized there was another bear stuck inside. The family wisely stayed in the car, then used their key to remotely open the trunk. The stuck bear then climbed out and headed back to the woods with the cub. And taking a look at the Norwood Bridge, traffic moving along there. If you have any tips to pass along, text them to us at 10400.
Montreal-based meal kit company Good Food was granted protection from its creditors on Wednesday, a day after its CEO resigned. The company announcing it will be asking the Quebec Superior Court to approve a formal process to sell the company or seek new investment, as the company says it won't have the cash to make interest payments on the millions of dollars in debt due later this week and in September. The Greater Toronto Area's housing market cooled in July after a run of 4 straight months with year-over-year gains. The region saw 5,995 homes change hands last month, down 0.9% from July of 25. However, sales rose 3.2% from June on a seasonally adjusted basis. Toronto Regional Real Estate Board says the average selling price decreased 4.5% year-over-year to $1,003,000. A rogue print in pre-market trade sent SK Hynix stocks hurtling 30% lower. It was hit by a flash crash in Seoul Thursday when a tiny trade worth about $12,000 prompted a 30% plunge in the share price. Although the stock recovered, it still ended the day down another 10%. Those are your morning business headlines. For B&M Bloomberg, I'm Roger Peterson.
CTV's Ainsley McPhail is at Soul Sanctuary on Chevrier Boulevard. That's been transformed into the Irish Pavilion, of course, all part of Folklorama. Good morning, Ainsley.
Good morning. A couple of years ago, last year, I went to Ireland for 2 weeks and had an absolute blast, and I feel like I've been transported back in time. One thing that I didn't do, and I really, really regret, is hurling. This is called a hurley, and it's one of the oldest field sports ever played. Very neat. I'm going to show you the ball, similar to a baseball, I'll say, but I don't want to offend any Irish people who are like, oh no, it's totally different. We're going to be learning about the cultural display, which features Celtic art. We're also going to be pouring the perfect Guinness. We're going to learn exactly how long it sets for, exactly how much to put in there, and the food, what's on the menu. Well, maybe we're going to be able to try some stew. I cannot stand here and not tell you about the live performances, which we're going to get. Irish dancing coming up.
Awesome. Looking forward to that, Ainsley. And Tandy Vera is up on the rooftop. A nice start to the day, and sun looks like it's peeking out there.
Yeah, the sun's peeking through. It's still mostly cloudy right now, but it is peeking through quite beautifully, and it's refreshing outside. The winds have decreased just a little bit, 14 degrees right now, so we're just 1 degree shy of what we were an hour ago at 15. Mostly cloudy outside, winds gusting southwest at 11 kilometers per hour. The pressure is rising, and the humidity is sitting at 87%. So across the province, we're going to have this mixture of sun and cloud, but it's mostly going to be a cloudy day for most of the province. In fact, Environment and Climate Change Canada, do note that for southern Manitoba, the cloud coverage will increase throughout the day. And I will say right now in the morning it did, because the cloud coverage has increased for here in downtown Winnipeg. Right now in Churchill, they're experiencing some mist. Earlier it was fog, and now it's misty out there, so just something to keep of note. For most places, it's just cloudy, as well as a bit of sun peeking through, but mostly cloudy conditions across the province. We do have that chance of light precipitation, a 60% chance according to Environment Canada. I do want to note that for southern Manitoba, it's going to be a hot one today, but very intense winds. For most of the other places in northern Manitoba, it's going to be quite cooler with that higher chance of precipitation. So just keep that of note. Always grab that umbrella, raincoat just in case. As I always say, Mother Nature does change up on us quite quickly. So traveling about, remember that we might have some light precipitation.
Weather is brought to you by Blinds Are Beautiful. Our new Hunter Douglas showroom is at 900 Lorimer.
All right, it's time now for our question of the day. Have you ever felt pressured to buy something? You can text your answers to 10400. Make sure to follow the automated instructions so we can feature your response, and don't forget to include your name.
Question of the day, brought to you by Provivo, Manitoba's #1 cool sculpting clinic, science-backed body contouring.
It's time now for our pet of the week. This week, we're celebrating Annie. Introducing Annie, otherwise known as Annie Banani, the Nanster Nanny, and for a little while every holiday season, Anzilla for her habit of terrorizing the Christmas village. She's a sweet girl who loves her cuddles, her treats, and spending time in the garden with her humans. And today, Annie is celebrating her 20th birthday. Happy birthday, Annie. Now, we love your pet of the week submissions, so keep them coming. Share a photo and a fun story of your pet. It could be a dog, cat, bird, or anybody at petoftheweek@ctv.ca. And make sure to tune in every Thursday to see if your pet is named our pet of the week. And a look out on Taché there. Traffic rolling along. We're taking a short break. We'll be right back, though, with more CTV Your Morning Winnipeg. The union representing Winnipeg transit workers is speaking out after one of its members was allegedly stabbed with a needle.
A driver this morning, he was driving his bus en route, and when he was stopped at William and Isabel, a passenger just came up before getting off the bus and literally stabbed him twice.
James Van Gerwen, the president of ATU, says it's just the latest violent transit incident reported to the union. Van Gerwen is calling for fully enclosed shields to be installed to protect drivers. A statement from the city of Winnipeg says since 2017, it's spent more than $9.6 million on transit safety. It says shields will be included in its 2027 budget submission.
Our drivers are frustrated. They're feeling unsafe, and you know, it's going to affect the amount of members we have to drive the bus.
Winnipeg Police tell CTV News it's aware of the incident and will be providing further information at a later date. A liquor mart in Gimli got quite the surprise Tuesday afternoon when a truck drove into the building. It happened just before 2. RCMP say a 73-year-old woman who appeared to have possibly suffered a medical incident drove into the building. 2 people on scene were treated by paramedics. An exterior wall was damaged, but repairs were done overnight, which allowed the liquor mart to reopen Wednesday. No charges have been filed. And the water bus is back on the river for the first time this year.
We always need to wait until the water allows us to offer the water bus.
Winnipeg Waterways says service was delayed this year because of changing water levels, debris, and strong currents on the Assiniboine River. Now that the river is settling, the company is launching the service this weekend. It has stops at 5 docks connecting Corden, the Forks, Exchange District, Norwood, and Taché.
In coming down, it's come down consistently, and it's finally at a point where we can reliably offer this service.
This year, the service includes a larger boat, allowing it to carry more people. Along with the hop-on and off water bus, Winnipeg Waterways also offers a scenic boat tour service, which has been cruising on the river since the spring. And taking a look on Osborne, traffic cruising along there as well. Send your traffic tips to us at 10400.
Traffic is brought to you by Curtis Carpets, Manitoba's flooring experts.
Paramount Skydance's proposed takeover of Warner Brothers Discovery is heading to trial. A federal judge set a March 2027 trial date. A group of state attorneys generals and the Writers Guild of America have filed lawsuits to prevent the merger. The lawsuits accuse Paramount of violating antitrust laws. Paramount had agreed to hold off its merger until a trial takes place. It was pushing for a November start date, while the group suing wanted to go to trial in April of next year. The judge says he expects the trial will last 2 weeks. Tate McRae wrapped her set at Lollapalooza in a very Tate McRae way. She closed her headlining set with sports car and submerged herself in a bath filled with gold paint. Gold seems to be her thing lately. She also wore gold at the Met Gala earlier this year. And next month, you'll have a chance to see the history of concrete. Literally, that's what the film is called. It's directed by filmmaker John Wilson, who is the creator of How To with John Wilson on HBO. This is his feature debut and is meant to be the definitive documentary on concrete. It'll be in theaters September 18th. And Spain's World Cup hero Ferran Torres traded in a soccer ball for a baseball this week. Got to throw the ceremonial first pitch before a Yankees-Cardinal game at Yankee Stadium just weeks after he won the World Cup in nearby New Jersey. He also wore a special number 7 jersey, his number in soccer, and retired by the Yankees as it was once worn by Mickey Mantle. Your Thursday primetime lineup kicks off at 7 with The Big Bang Theory. Children Ruin Everything is next at 8, and Traders Canada wraps up at 9. It's all right here tonight on CTV.
The CTV Live Eye is brought to you by Bath Fitter, your bath and shower experts for more than 40 years.
14 degrees right now, mostly cloudy outside, winds gusting southwest at 11 kilometers per hour. The pressure is rising and the humidity is sitting at 87%. So 14 degrees on tap right now here in Winnipeg. Looking at the rest of the province, 14 degrees in Portage, 10 degrees in Brandon, so quite chillier. Gimli at 15 degrees. We have Kenora 16 degrees, the Morden and Winkler area at 16 degrees, Dauphin at 15 degrees as well as Swan River at 13 degrees. Looking up at Thompson, 13 degrees. It stopped raining just recently. Churchill at 10 degrees. They're facing a bit of mist right now. Lynn Lake at 13 degrees and Flin Flon also at 13 degrees with Island Lake at 14 degrees. So we're starting off with very cold temperatures this morning, which is to be expected. It will heat up for southern Manitoba according to Environment and Climate Change Canada, pardon me. But looking out, not too much to show you on the satellite image besides that low pressure system out far in the west will taper into the province later on today. So we do have that risk of thunderstorms later on in the afternoon. But for 8 a.m., 17 degrees is what we're going to be at. Winds gusting southwest at 20 kilometers per hour. Those winds will increase 27 degrees by the afternoon time, so quite intense heat is coming on the way. Winds gusting southwest at 30 to 50 kilometers per hour, which will be the same around the early evening of 5 p.m. We do have that risk of a thunderstorm and a 60% chance of light precipitation in the form of rain, so just keep that in mind when traveling about. We did have a short burst of it yesterday, but it was very, very, very light showers around 5 p.m. But looking at your 7-day forecast, as I said, today our house is going to be 28 degrees, so quite intense heat. Seasonal average is 26, so we're just 2 degrees above that. Tomorrow it's going to be 23 degrees with mostly sunshine on the way and sunny days ahead for the rest of the week. And looking at our beautiful pic of the day from Alan. How cute is this bunny? Thank you so much for sending this picture. Please keep them coming at Winnipeg Weather at ctv.ca.
August 6, 1932. The modern Welland Canal officially opened, linking Lake Ontario to Lake Erie by a series of locks across the Niagara Peninsula. It is one of the principal sections of the St. Lawrence Seaway, allowing ships access to the interior of North America from the Atlantic. Its locks raise or lower ships a total of 100 meters between the two lakes, bypassing the falls on the Niagara River. August 6, 2009. Writer-director John Hughes died of a heart attack during a morning walk in Manhattan. He was 59. He captured the youth market in the 1980s and 90s with classic movies like The Breakfast Club, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, and Home Alone. He also wrote or directed National Lampoon's Vacation, Pretty in Pink, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, and Uncle Buck. August 6th, 2020. U.S. President Donald Trump reimposed tariffs on Canadian aluminum. Trump said he signed a proclamation to restore the 10% tariffs. In a speech at a Whirlpool factory in Ohio, Trump touted his record of defending American workers. The Trudeau government promised to impose retaliatory tariffs in response to Trump's announcement.
Canada's Prime Minister says he's lost confidence in FIFA's president, Gianni Infantino, after his attempt to sell off part of the competition to private investors.
I've run a few organizations in my time. The idea that proper governance is not to disclose to your closest advisors, your chief operating officer, your fellow board members, something of consequence that you're even considering, let alone proposing, that's fatal, should be fatal, but certainly I don't have confidence in Mr. Infantino after this point, given what transpired and given the nature of what transpired.
Mark Carney says what Infantino attempted is not how to run a business, let alone a huge organization like FIFA. Infantino has since apologized, admitting the proposal created deep divisions. An Australian budget airline Jetstar will soon charge passengers to use their overhead bins. This move comes after passengers and airline staff named having bags weighed at the gate and struggling to find room in overhead lockers, one of the most stressful parts of the airport experience. Passengers can still carry on items that can be stored under seats for free. The cost of using overhead compartments as of February will be 25 Australian dollars, which is about the same cost here in Canada. And from Australia over to Ireland, where Ainsley McPhail is checking out the bar there. She has details on how to pour a Guinness coming up after the break. CTV's Ainsley McPhail is live this morning at Folklorama's Irish Pavilion, and it looks like you're living that pub life, Ainsley.
What a hard job I have. I wake up this early. We have beer and soda bread. It's just horrible. Isn't it, Patty?
Terrible.
The Irish Pavilion is a bundle of fun. Kelly and Brandy are also joining us alongside the bartender. How popular has it been so far?
It's been a fun ride. It's been pretty popular. We've gone through more than a couple cases of Jameson's and an uncountable amount of Irish beer.
Wow. And that's only in 3 days. I just wanted to point out as well. Speaking of Irish beer, we've got a lovely selection here, but everybody thinks of Guinness, and a proper pour is what you're going to show us.
Well, there you go. So the cans of Guinness have a widget in it. It's filled with nitrous. So the best way to go is to open it up and very delicately just throw it in.
Ooh.
And work it all the way up, and you'll get a nice cascade as it settles.
And so settling is a big part of the process.
That is a big part of it. It takes a few minutes to build a pint. So you let it sit and cascade until it's almost all completely dark, and then it's ready to enjoy.
It's beautiful. How long does that typically take before it's like, okay, we can now enjoy this?
There is an exact number, but I think it's like 57 seconds.
That's precise.
Yeah. I can't remember the exact number.
Yeah. Cool. Okay, so whiskey is a part of the Irish culture as well, and you guys have some really fantastic cocktails.
Absolutely. We've got a couple. There's one we call the Mayo All-Star. So this year was the first year in 75 years that County Mayo has won the All-Ireland final for the football. They've had a curse, they've said, for the entire time, so they've finally broken the curse. So we made the cocktail, and it's watermelon and mint, and Irish whiskey, a little bit of lemon, and a couple other delicious things in there.
It is delicious.
It is very good.
It is delicious.
Yeah. That's actually why they're standing here, just so I can get confirmation.
Yes, absolutely. It was very good.
A tester.
We also have a McElroy, which is kind of a play on an Arnold Palmer. It's a black tea steeped Irish whiskey with lemonade, and it is phenomenal. It's dangerous.
Okay, in the best way. Woo, and it looks like that Guinness has settled. I'm going to have to grab a 0%. Back to you.
Thank you, Ainsley. Tandy, you've checked out some pavilions so far. Where did you head last night?
Last night I went to the Ghana Pavilion. It was incredible. And the night before Japanese, so much fun, and I love the kids. They're putting on such a great performance. And if you're thinking about stepping out today, it'd be a great time to do it. 14 degrees right now, mostly cloudy outside, winds gusting southwest at 11 kilometers per hour. The pressure is rising and the humidity is sitting at 87%. Not much to show you right now in the satellite image. We do have that low pressure system that will taper into parts of the province, has already started to, with some places waking up with light showers this morning, including in Thompson. But for here in Winnipeg, 28 degrees is going to be our high today, so quite intense heat. Great day to go out. Winds gusting southwest at 30 to 50 kilometers per hour. We do have increasing cloud coverage throughout the day, according to Environment and Climate Change Canada. So it won't be as sunny as it was for the past couple of days, but sunshine's on the way tomorrow very soon. But we still do have that risk of a thunderstorm in the late afternoon and a 60% chance of light precipitation in the form of rain or some showers, maybe some short bursts of showers, as that's what's been on the go for us as of late. And looking into the evening time, 13 degrees will be our high. Those winds will increase. Winds gusting northwest at 40 to 60 kilometers per hour. So quite a windy evening, mostly cloudy as well, with that risk of a thunderstorm and light precipitation. It will clear off by midnight, according to Environment and Climate Change Canada, and those winds will decrease as well to about 20 kilometers per hour after midnight. But into tomorrow, 23 degrees is going to be our high and mostly sunshine on the way, which is a pleasant day to go out and enjoy, with winds gusting northwest at 20 kilometers per hour, pardon me. So quite mild winds, and looking to the rest of the week, it's just going to be dry conditions and sunshine on the go.
The Winnipeg Police Service will hold a news conference this morning to detail results of a 10-day drug enforcement blitz held in June of this year. WPS Chief Gene Bowers and Mayor Scott Gillingham are among those scheduled to speak on the full results of the blitz. Shortly after enhanced enforcement began, the city released results covering the first few days, which targeted open drug use in public places, drug trafficking, and possession. Some community groups questioned this approach, saying the blitz targeted the vulnerable unfairly. Others in the business community applauded the initiative and asked that it be made permanent. Last week, Chief Bowers told a news conference he sees a place for enforcement and a place for harm reduction in any future plans. It only took 2 days of storms in Manitoba and Saskatchewan to cost the insurance industry more than $840 million. According to the Insurance Bureau of Canada, the losses are from storms on June 9th and 10th. Over these 2 days, tornadoes, hail, powerful winds, torrential rains, and flash floods battered both provinces. And it doesn't appear to be an anomaly. The Bureau says both the frequency and severity of extreme weather has increased in recent years. Officials say the surge in claims are putting pressure on the cost of insurance premiums, adding, while we can't control the weather, we can control our exposure to it.
And so that means building in the right places and in the right ways, and keeping development out of high-risk areas. It means investing in climate-resilient infrastructure. Our cities face hundreds of billions of dollars of infrastructure deficit that has to be remedied.
The Bureau says when building in high-risk areas is unavoidable, community-level mitigation measures should be required, and it wants building codes and construction standards strengthened to ensure new homes are built with resilient features. And hundreds of new concerns related to fallen, damaged, or dangerous trees were reported to 311 over the weekend as high wind Sunday in Winnipeg caused additional work. The city says it received more than 1,300 related service requests since Thursday. Crews are prioritizing the most hazardous situations, like those where branches or trees are blocking roads or have fallen on houses or vehicles. And it's going to be another hot and humid day in much of Atlantic Canada, and people are doing what they can to keep cool.
Pretty hot. You get really warm when you're gardening up there in the sun. We have our umbrellas, but it gets pretty hot, yeah.
Community pools in the wharf were popular spots yesterday as temperatures soared. People can expect similar conditions today with yellow level heat warnings in New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, and PEI. It may sound like science fiction, a giant mirror in space illuminating the night, but that's exactly what a US-based company wants to do, and that's causing some concern.
This will completely kill astronomy, not just amateurs who just love looking at the sky, but also research astronomy, because one of these satellites going over a big telescope will pretty much fry the camera.
Scott Young of the Manitoba Museum Planetarium is referring what could happen if a U.S.-based space startup is able to deploy a constellation of satellites. The company says it will be able to transform the satellites into giant mirrors, reflecting a 5-kilometer wide beam of sunlight that could illuminate disaster response areas, boost the agricultural sector, and energize solar farms after dark. Other experts say the risks of these celestial spotlights far outweigh any rewards.
Nighttime as we know it will be gone, and it will have a devastating impact on our ecosystem, and it's all interconnected.
Reflect Orbital tells CTV News it's committed to ongoing dialogue and has commissioned third-party research on the impacts of its technology. The U.S. Federal Communications Commission has officially given the green light to test this technology. Reflect Orbital plans to launch its first satellite by the end of the year. Some road closures to remind you about this morning. On Furby Street, the north and southbound curb lanes will be closed from Sargent to Ellis Avenue. The southbound curb lane on Sherbourne Street will be closed between Grundy and Notre Dame Avenue. And following the rush, the westbound curb lane on Grant Avenue will be closed from Kenniston to Edgeland Boulevard. And taking a look at your gas prices out there, here in Winnipeg, the average is $1.70 and the lowest price in the city is $1.61. All this information is on GasBuddy.com.
The Price at the Pump is brought to you by the Kidney Foundation. Help by donating your card today.
Fairly sunny, actually a little cloudy, 14 degrees though in Winnipeg right now. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back with plenty more news and your full weather forecast.
Mostly cloudy outside, 14 degrees right now, winds gusting southwest at 11 kilometers per hour. The pressure is rising and the humidity is sitting at 87%. Not too much to show you on our satellite image besides that low pressure system out in the west that will taper into parts of the province later on today. Some parts did feel some early morning showers, but looking into the highs that we have across the province for today, in Churchill we have a high of 17 degrees with a mix of sun and cloud. In Thompson, 17 degrees as well, but they do have that slight chance of precipitation, 60% chance. Island Lake at 19 degrees, so they have very cooler temperatures for them. And looking into Lynn Lake, 17 degrees again with that risk of light precipitation. Same with Flin Flon, The Pas, and Norway House, 16 degrees in The Pas and Norway House at 17 degrees. Looking now into Brandon, 27 degrees, a mix of cloud coverage, mostly cloudy outside for them. Dauphin at 23 degrees and Swan River 19 degrees, but it's going to be quite a windy day. A little bit windy for us here in Winnipeg as well. 28 degrees will be our high with that risk of a thunderstorm in the later part of the afternoon. Same with Steinbach, also 28 degrees. Warden and Winkler area 29 degrees with partly cloudy skies with lots more sun for them. 25 degrees in Gimli with a bit of cloud coverage. Burns River at 20 degrees. Looking just east of us, Kenora at 26 degrees, pardon me, with that mixture of cloud coverage and sunshine. Red Lake, they might have that slight chance of precipitation at 24 degrees and Dryden at 27 degrees. Now looking into our 7-day forecast, as I mentioned, today our high is going to be 28 degrees, so that heat's going to be ramping up. We also have quite intense winds, so you just want to keep that of note. Anything between 30 to 50 kilometers per hour, and it will increase to about 60 later on this evening. But for the rest of the week, we just have sunshine on the go with a high of 23 degrees tomorrow for Friday.
Thanks, Tandy. Ainsley McPhail is live this morning at the Irish Pavilion. She's making her way through there, and it looks like you've made your way into the kitchen.
Yeah, my morning smells better than your morning. That's all I'm going to say. It has been so much fun, and especially coming into the kitchen for the Irish Pavilion, we're very, very blessed. Ashley and Curtis are joining us. Good morning, chefs.
Good morning.
How long is that stew marinating for before it hits our lips?
10 to 12 hours.
Wow.
We slow cook it for 10 to 12 hours.
That's a big process. So what goes into it and into the stew physically, but also the process?
The process is we get it from a farmer out in Ile-des-Chênes. Richard Simcock is his name. Nice and fresh, cubed. We bring it to the Irish Club on Erin. We season it there, and then we sear it there. Then we cool it down, and then Ashley will take it to, Ashley will take care of bagging it and sealing it for us.
Wow. And I can tell you guys, we came in here at 5 in the morning. We could smell the stew. We truly could smell the stew. Then it hits the pot.
Right, exactly. So then it hits the pot. Carrots, onions, beef, obviously, and we throw it into the grill, or throw it into the hot pot, or into the steamer for 10 to 12 hours.
Wow. And you know what? The only thing you have to do, get here early, because if you don't, it's going to be gone. I can't not talk about dessert, and there's another smell that we're looking at.
Yes. So this is one of our house-made desserts here. It is called bread pudding. So bread, cream, sugar, eggs, and some raisins. But it would not be complete without whiskey cream sauce.
And this is something that you heat up. Tell me about the flavors.
Flavors, so very rich and creamy. There's some cinnamon and vanilla. So it's just a really nice, tasty dish. A little bit light, but still is going to hit your sweet tooth well. So,
what's the most popular? Am I missing anything?
No, it's just the whiskey sauce is beautiful, absolutely.
You know what? That's a teaser. That's why he's not saying anything, because you have to come. You have to show up to Folklorama. So many pavilions. We've got more coming up at 8:06.
Lobster season in Nova Scotia may be over, but lobster fascination in that province is ramping up. That's because of a two-colored lobster, one of the rarest in the world, was recently discovered. CTV's Paul Hollingsworth visited the colorful crustacean for himself.
It's an extraordinary sight inside this aquarium.
Very rare in the animal kingdom, very rare in lobsters.
This two-colored lobster was recently donated to Dalhousie University by a Nova Scotia fisherman.
He's half orange, half the normal lobster color, kind of dark greenish.
Because of those looks, he's now receiving star treatment.
They named him Oscar because they think he deserves an Oscar for his award-winning looks.
Since Oscar's arrival,
wow, beautiful.
He's become a main attraction, with big crowds arriving each day.
We want to engage the public more than just, coming through one time.
How Oscar became a two-colored crustacean requires scientific explanation. For starters, two unlaid fertilized eggs became connected.
Two genetic information sets in one lobster, so they're able to hold pigments on different sides of their bodies.
Oscar recently endured a molting process. His discarded shell is on display as he recovers in this nearby tank.
And it'll take him around 14 to 30 days to harden his shell again.
Oscar, who is between 5 and 10 years old, will now live here full-time. Experts say his coloring is 1 in 50 million, the second rarest lobster in the world. 1 in 50 million is certainly uncommon, but Oscar is not the only rare find at this aquarium. There are also two blue lobsters. Indigo is hiding behind a rock. The other, Blueberry, is not as shy.
Blueberry is our tiny little blue lobster.
No disrespect to Indigo and Blueberry, but everyone comes to see Oscar, the rare lobster who is making a huge splash on this university campus. Paul Hollingsworth, CTV News, Halifax.
A zoo in Washington is marking the birthday of one of its animals. Crowds gathered to watch the panda enjoy its shark-themed birthday bash, enjoying a frozen fruit cake. The giant panda has just turned 5. For the humans in attendance, there were a variety of panda-themed activities. And now let's see who's celebrating a milestone today. Happy 6th birthday, Juliet, with lots of love from Grandpa and Grandma. Happy birthday, Peyton. Love from your mom, Dad, Drayden, Jaden, Layton, and Jordan. Happy 60th wedding anniversary, Ruth and Ed, from all your kids and grandkids. And a very happy 102nd birthday to Joan, who is also affectionately known as Mom, Grandma, and Great Grandma, with love from all your family. To submit your milestone, visit our website, ctvnewswinnipeg.ca, and fill out that form at least 2 days in advance.
Weather is brought to you by ABC Fire and Safety, your CO2 refill store.
28 degrees is our high today. Our seasonal average is 26 degrees. We're going to be 2 degrees above that. Last year it was 27.4 degrees. We're actually going to beat last year's record. The record breaking is 1988 with 38.7 degrees. So quite intense heat, almost 40 degrees for them. But for here, 28 is going to be our high. So it'll be a nice day to go out with that heat that's going to ramp up. So will the winds. Right now it's 14 degrees, mostly cloudy outside. The sun is peeking through beautifully. Winds gusting southwest at 11 kilometers per hour. The pressure is rising and the humidity is sitting at 87%. So right now in Portage, 14 degrees, 10 degrees in Brandon, so quite a chill start for them. Same with Churchill, 10 degrees as well. They're actually facing some mist at the moment. 13 degrees in Thompson. They had some early morning showers earlier, but that lasted only about 20 minutes. We do have that 60% chance of precipitation for most of southern Manitoba and different parts of the north and in central. For here in southern Manitoba, we also have quite intense heat. Compared up into the north, it's going to be very cool temperatures, anything ranging from 15 to 19 degrees at most. But for most of southern Manitoba, a high of 28, 29 degrees in some places, with Brandon 27 degrees as their high. So we're going to have that mixed bag of weather as well as quite intense winds. Anything gusting between 30 to 50 kilometers per hour, and the clouds will increase throughout the day.
A Manitoba family grieving the loss of a son made a promise that his life would continue to make a difference. So the Crotty family created Braden's Next Chapter in his memory as a way to help other families access recovery programs in our province through the Bruce and Ann Oak Foundation. And the organization is hosting a big fundraising golf tournament next week. And joining us now with the details is Braden Crotty's mom, Penny, and aunt, Karen. Thank you both for being here today.
Thank you for having us.
First off, can you share a little bit about who Braden was and what he meant to his family, his friends, his community?
Oh my gosh. Braden was fantastic. He was into sports, loved making people laugh, smart beyond his years.
A very stylish young man. He dressed the part, you know, he was always there to help people. You know, as much as he had issues of his own, he was always there to help. He was a really fine young man who obviously left us far too soon.
And now you guys are helping other people. You created Braden's Next Chapter from the website to turn loss into meaningful action. How so?
By hosting the golf tournament, we are able to raise money with the help of community, friends, our sponsors, our donors. All the money goes directly to Bruce Oak to give other families an opportunity to have that hope of recovery and healing.
The tournament's happening August 15th out at Sandy Hook. $22,000 last year, which is incredible. Karen, how much are you guys hoping to raise this year?
Oh, we'd love to hit that mark, but whatever we do raise is something that we, you know, that we're hoping for. It doesn't matter how much it is, we're doing something for that purpose. As we said, the golf tournament is sold out. We didn't even have to work at that. It was community, friends, family, everybody is so involved in the golf tournament. And yeah, 22,000 is pretty good. If we can hit that again, we'll be really happy.
And while all those tee times are filled up, there's other ways people can support. What do people at home need to know today?
Okay, what we would really need, we've got hole sponsorships available at $250 a hole. Any sort of cash donations can be donated on behalf of Braden's Next Chapter directly to Bruce Oak if needed. We are always looking for donations as far as silent auction prizes, any sort of cash donations, because I mean, with a golf tournament, we're handing out a lot of prizes and some good stuff. So yeah, we are really looking for community help, whether it's help with the meal. We've got Penny's family, her sisters are all taking part, doing all the cooking for the meal. It's fantastic how the community and family has come together. It really is.
How has this helped your healing process so far, Penny?
I think it's helped my healing process a bit by getting the word out and letting people know that recovery is possible, it is real. If one family starts a conversation or one person asks for help, then I feel like that's making a difference.
Addiction is in the news every day.
Yeah.
It's in our community. It's tough to see, and you mentioned recovery is possible. What's your message to other families out there? You kind of touched on that, but if someone's watching right now, what would you like them to know?
I would like them to know that addiction can happen to any family. It doesn't discriminate at any demographic. If someone is wanting help, it's not vulnerable to ask for help. They shouldn't be not chastised, but they shouldn't feel bad for asking for help, and that help is out there.
And Karen, where can people learn more about the tournament or Braden's Next Chapter?
Yeah, we actually have a website, bradensnextchapter.ca, sorry, as well as we've got visibility on Facebook, of course. But yeah, your best bet is to go to Braden's Next Chapter. There's many options as far as how people can support, and there's some really good information, some nice pictures of Braden, some pictures of our tournament last year.
Sponsors,
and
donors.
the sponsors, we already have some wonderful sponsors this year
Awesome.
that are, we have hole-in-one contests that we've got. Judd's Power Sports out in Gimli is sponsoring.
Well, we're running out of time, but I appreciate you both coming in and sharing a little bit about Braden today.
Thank you for letting us share his story here.
Community Connection is brought to you by Mr. Reuter Plumbing. Born to be a hero, trained to be a plumber.
Hi there, Matt Scoopy in the Sports Center Newsroom with your must-see moment from Wednesday before we head to the CONCACAF U20 Championship. Canada facing Jamaica in extra time. The ball going to bounce off the keeper to the top of the penalty area where Max Wagella going to line it up and blast the volley into the back of the net. He waits for the perfect moment to pull off the incredible goal. Canada wins the match and qualifies for the FIFA U20 World Cup for the first time since 2007. Wagella claims the must-see moments. And tonight on TSN, we've got football from north and south of the border. In the CFL, the Stamps face the Argonauts, and the NFL preseason kicks off with the Panthers and Cardinals in the Hall of Fame game. Coverage for both games starts at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 Pacific. That's all for now from the Sports Center Newsroom. Have a great day.
The TSN must-see moment is brought to you by Super Blinds and Draperies, featuring Hunter Douglas products.
It's Thursday, August 6th. Today, coping with rising fuel prices. A survey suggests Canadians are choosing to drive less, but businesses that consume a lot of costly fuels face more difficult decisions. Also today, the Prime Minister says Canada's tone is firm as tariff talks with the U.S. are in progress. So far, how much has the value of Canada's exports dropped since the cross-border trade battle ramped up in 2025? And with success, inevitably comes scrutiny. Producers of a Canadian mega-hit television series politely ask fascinated fans to keep their distance and wait to see it all unfold on screen. Your Morning Winnipeg starts right now. Good morning. Thank you for spending part of your Thursday with us. I'm Daniel Homerson, joined by Tandy Vera on weather today. Ainsley McPhail is, of course, at Folklorama, third pavilion this week. She's at the Irish Pavilion. We've seen a little bit of the food and drink offerings there, some of the cultural displays. Coming up, we're going to see some of the dancing as well, so stay tuned for that, folks. And a great day to head outside. It's going to be a hot one.
It's going to be a hot one, a high of 28 degrees, so a bit of a change from those cool temperatures, but it also will be a windy one. It's 14 degrees right now, mostly cloudy outside. Winds gusting southwest at 11 kilometers per hour. The pressure is rising and the humidity is sitting at 87%. So looking at our satellite image for today, we do have this low pressure system that's coming in west of us that's likely to taper into the province. It's already started to taper into parts of Manitoba. I do want to note we do have that 60% chance of precipitation according to Environment and Climate Change Canada, with a risk of thunderstorms in the late afternoon for the greater part of southern Manitoba. Up in the north, they are experiencing some light rainfall. Thompson earlier this morning had about 25 minutes of a short burst of light showers, as you can see here through this low pressure system, pardon me. And then looking towards our future cast, as I mentioned, it will taper into parts of the province, probably starting with central Manitoba and then coming down for us here in Winnipeg as well as the Brandon area. It will clear off by the evening time, later on in the evening time after midnight, but for tomorrow morning, it's mostly going to be clear and sunny skies for us. Up in the north, they might have some scattered precipitation for them. It also might be greater cloud coverage for them. But for us here in downtown Winnipeg and in just Winnipeg, southern Manitoba, it's mostly going to be sunny skies looking ahead. But there will be some scattered precipitation in some areas in central Manitoba, so just keep that of note when traveling about. But as I mentioned today, our high is going to be 28 degrees, so beautiful, nice, sunny day with that mixture of cloud coverage throughout the day, increasing throughout the day. Tomorrow, 23 degrees and mostly sunny, and the rest of the week's just sunshine on the go. Look at this beautiful weather art, so foxy. Thank you, Mila, 7 years old. To submit your child's weather art of the day, visit our website, ctvnews.ca, and fill out the form. Your art can be shown on Your Morning Winnipeg, and it will also enter you into a monthly contest for a chance to win a $100 gift card from Crocodoodle on Keniston and Regent locations.
The weather art of the day is brought to you by Crocodoodle Paint Your Own Pottery, now open on Regent and Keniston.
Has the cost of filling up got you down? Well, according to a new CAA survey, rising gas prices are forcing many Manitobans to rethink how they drive, travel, and spend this summer. And businesses that consume a lot of fuel are considering price increases of their own.
When your three biggest expenses are increasing substantially because of what's going on with events in the world, it's hard to start passing that. That results in a big hike for your customers. And of course, they don't want to see it. Nobody wants to see it, but we have no choice. We're going to have to.
Tim Muse of Greenblade Lawn Care says he pays about 6 figures to fuel his 50 trucks each year. With fertilizer and wage costs up as well, he may have no choice but to raise prices for Greenblade's customers. Meanwhile, a recent CAA Manitoba survey says these summer prices are forcing drivers to reconsider their habits and road trip plans. The survey found 6 out of 10 Manitobans are changing how they drive.
35% say that they are driving less for everyday needs. As a result of these prices. 23% are cutting spending on other things, and another 23% are reducing or eliminating activities.
Analysts at Gas Buddy say there could be some relief in sight if a new deal between the U.S. and Iran is reached this week. They say there's still a lot of uncertainty, but estimate pump prices could fall 10 to 20 cents a liter. A man who was drunk when he struck and killed 2 cyclists in Winnipeg last September has been sentenced to 8 years in prison. Kuldeep Singh Gill was arrested a few hours after the crash on Keniston Boulevard. He had fled the scene of a high-speed collision that killed 31-year-old Igor Popov and his common-law partner, 25-year-old Carrie Bonner. Provincial Court Associate Chief Judge David Ireland rendered the sentence Tuesday. Gill previously pleaded guilty in February to 2 counts of impaired driving causing death and 2 counts of leaving the scene of a fatal crash. Both Popov and Bonner died from multiple blunt force injuries sustained in the collision, leaving their then 9-month-old daughter orphaned. Gill, who is a permanent resident born in India, has a previous impaired driving conviction in Manitoba. He will receive credit for 33 days already served. He will, according to what was revealed in court, likely face deportation. The federal government has announced Winnipeg will be home to a brand new medical countermeasures lab.
$267 million national facility that will strengthen Canada's capacity to develop vaccines, therapeutics, and diagnostic tools.
The facility is going to be built next to the National Microbiology Laboratory on Arlington Street. Folks working inside the new facility will be given the heavy task of finding ways to treat public health issues before they become a crisis. Officials say this new facility won't be an industrial-sized assembly line for producing vaccines. Instead, it will be making small batches to be sent out for further testing.
They need high-quality products to be able to use to go into that testing, and there just isn't much capacity available in Canada. So that's a real roadblock in Canadian researchers moving their ideas forward. And so this facility is unique in Canada in that it'll help alleviate that problem.
A $10 million design contract was awarded to Winnipeg-based Architecture 49. It's aiming for design work to be done by 2029, with construction starting the following year and eventually wrapping up in 2033. A new round of U.S. tariffs are set to kick in less than 2 weeks, and Prime Minister Mark Carney says negotiations are happening. Carney said Canada's tone towards the United States is already quite firm and insisted trade negotiations with Washington remain constructive. This as we learn the value of Canada's trade with the U.S. has dropped by almost $2 billion since early 2024. The new 50% tariffs would apply to a wide range of Canadian imports starting on August 19th. But unlike previous measures, there would be no exemptions for goods covered by CUSMA. Fans looking forward to season 2 of Heated Rivalry are being asked to wait to see it on TV. The show is shooting at locations in Montreal and Toronto. Heated Rivalry's showrunner has put out a post on social media gently asking fans to keep their distance. It says, quote, "Your support, enthusiasm, and kindness have meant the world to us. As we gear up for more Heated Rivalry, please help us in making it the best it can be. If you happen to come across one of our filming locations, please give our cast and crew the space they need to do what they do best. We promise it will be worth the wait." Heated Rivalry streams on Crave. And taking a look at the St. James Bridge there, traffic moving pretty well. Looks like a smooth drive out there. If you have any tips to pass along, though, text them to us at 10400.
Traffic is brought to you by Mr. Lube Plus Tires, proudly keeping Canadians rolling for 50 years.
And CTV's Ainsley McPhail, day 3 of Folklorama for you. You are at the Irish Pavilion. We've had some food, some drinks. What are you up to now?
Well, now we're going to get moving. They're going to get moving. In the notes, it did say that they were going to teach me how to Irish dance, but I think on this program a few times we've tried that and didn't work so well. So let's leave it to the professionals. Emma and Allison to my right. Thank you all for being here this morning. All of you, you look amazing. Tell us about your group.
We're part of the McDonald School of Irish Dancing. We have classes for ages 3+. We also offer both competitive and recreational classes as well, along for adults too. And we're here all week.
From what I hear too, that your performance is extremely lively. People love it time and time again. If people haven't been and they're watching right now, what can they expect?
Lots of energetic performances by our dance school and Encore, the band playing. We're going to be dancing with the band and we're going to be hopping around. It's lots of fun. So please come. It's going to be so much fun.
What you're wearing is extremely vibrant and bright and beautiful. How heavy is it?
Pretty heavy. With all the big gems and crystals, they weigh a ton.
A lot of people who come to the Irish Pavilion time and time again, they basically have seen a lot of you guys grow up and develop. What does that mean to you?
It means everything to us. I think seeing the kids grow up from ages 3 and over, like we get to see all of them come through as beginners all the way up to championships. Allison and I have taught a lot of the girls that are here, and it's just an amazing kind of way to see them all grow.
I can't believe I asked a sentimental question and then now they have to dance. Okay, take it away, guys.
The CTV Live Eye is brought to you by Bath Fitter, your bath and shower experts for more than 40 years.
15 degrees right now, mostly cloudy outside, winds gusting southwest at 9 kilometers per hour. The pressure is rising and the humidity is sitting at 83%. So 15 degrees, we're just 1 degree above from what we were just an hour ago. Looking at our currents across the province, we have Portage at 16 degrees, Brandon 13 degrees, so they're heating up slowly. Dauphin at 16 degrees, Swan River 15 degrees, with Gimli at 16 degrees. Looking up into the Morden Winkler area, below was 18 degrees, Lynn Lake 13 13 degrees. Thompson, 14 degrees. Had some early rainfall earlier this morning. Churchill at 12 degrees. I will note that the fog and mist has dissipated. Island Lake at 15 degrees. The Pa at 12 degrees. They're actually experiencing some very light rainfall according to Environment and Climate Change Canada, with Lynn Lake at 13 degrees. So very cool temperatures to start of our day. But for southern Manitoba, those temperatures will ramp up in terms of heat. Looking at our satellite image, not too much to show you. We do have that low pressure system coming in just west of us that will taper into the province, has already started to taper in, with Thompson receiving that early rainfall and the Pa right now. But for Winnipeg today, on tap what we have 27 degrees by the time of the afternoon, so that heat is going to increase with winds gusting southwest, anything between 30 to 50 kilometers per hour. By 5 p.m. early evening, we do have that risk of a thunderstorm and a 60% chance of some light precipitation in the form of rainfall or maybe some very light showers. So just keep that of note when traveling about. But looking into our 7-day forecast, as I said today, quite intense heat. 28 degrees is going to be our high. Tomorrow, mild temperatures with 23 degrees, but sunshine on the go with dry conditions. We're taking a break right now, but we'll be back with more CTV Your Morning Winnipeg.
Montreal-based meal kit company Good Food was granted protection from its creditors on Wednesday, a day after its CEO resigned. The company announcing it will be asking the Quebec Superior Court to approve a formal process to sell the company or seek new investment. As the company says, it won't have the cash to make interest payments on the millions of dollars in debt due later this week and in September. The Greater Toronto Area's housing market cooled in July after a run of 4 straight months with year-over-year gains. The region saw 5,995 homes change hands last month, down 0.9% from July of 25. However, sales rose 3.2% from June on a seasonally adjusted basis. Toronto Regional Real Estate Board says the average selling price decreased 4.5% year-over-year to $1,003,000. A rogue print in pre-market trade sent SK Hynix stocks hurtling 30% lower. It was hit by a flash crash in Seoul Thursday when a tiny trade worth about $12,000 prompted a 30% plunge in the share price. Although the stock recovered, it still ended the day down another 10%. Those are your morning business headlines. For B&M Bloomberg, I'm Roger Peterson.
Manitoba has some of the highest residential radon levels in Canada, and exposure to the gas is the leading cause of lung cancer among people who have never smoked. Now, new research is happening here in Manitoba to explore if people at increased environmental risk can be identified sooner so they can benefit from earlier diagnosis and better outcomes. Joining us to explain is Pram Tapia from St. Boniface Hospital Research and Manitoba Lung Association CEO Juliette Muka. Great to have you guys here.
Well, thanks for having us.
Thank you so much. Now, Pram, starting off, tell us a little bit about this collaborative research project.
Okay, so the collaboration between the Manitoba Lung Association and Biomark Technologies and St. Boniface is a Manitoba story. And really it's about establishing a simple blood-based test based on biomarker innovative technology that will allow us to establish early detection of lung cancer. In our context, we're looking specifically at radon-induced lung cancer. Of course, if you detect cancer early diagnosis can lead to, as you said, better outcomes and hopefully save lives as well.
And Juliette, Manitoba is in a unique position to handle this research. Why is that?
Well, like you were just saying, Manitoba has some of the highest radon levels in Manitoba. So what a great way to have this collaborative partnership with Biomark Diagnostics, along with a collaborator with St. Boniface Hospital Research, to kind of take advantage of this, give people some opportunities. We know that radon, you can't see it, you can't smell it, and you can't taste it. So it's that silent killer. And by the time people get diagnosed with lung cancer, it's in the later stages or there's no options. So we're hoping to give hope, and as our mission is at the Manitoba Lung Association to helping Manitobans breathe with ease, that is exactly what we hope to do. And hopefully with this research and this collaboration, hopefully by this time next year, we'll have some great outcomes to showcase to Manitobans.
What are some of those outcomes, Pram, that you expect to see from this research?
So we're hoping, as I said, to establish a simple biomarker-based test When you look at the cumulative cost, this is 5-year cumulative cost of treating radon-induced lung cancer from 2021 to 2025 across Canada, it was $3 billion. And when you look specifically at Manitoba, it's around $170 million in the cost of treating cancers. So not only are we looking at early diagnosis and saving lives, but clearly we are also looking at hopefully having a mechanism to lessen the economic burden on the healthcare system.
And for patients you work with, for people that, access the Lung Association service, what does this mean for them? Or what could this mean for them in the future?
Could give them hope for themselves, for a loved one. So as we just celebrated World Lung Cancer Day just last Saturday, what a great way for this collaborative partnership to come to fruition and be able to perhaps even give hope. But at this point, research, innovative research is key, and that's where it starts, and that's why this partnership is so invaluable.
And Pram, finally, what are the next steps here? Or how are we getting this off the ground?
So the next steps will be to undertake feasibility planning. We're hoping to acquire funding. We obviously need the dollars to take this project to the next level. We're hoping to expand our partnership development, ethics approval, and then before we can recruit anyone into the study, we need to have institutional review board approvals. Once we have everything in place, then we'll move forward and accelerate this project, which is very exciting to all of the partners thus far.
Well, thank you so much for coming in and sharing this exciting partnership with us today.
Well, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Beautiful start to the day right now. It's 15 degrees, mostly cloudy outside, winds gusting southwest at 9 kilometers per hour. The pressure is rising and the humidity is sitting at 83%. It's really nice and refreshing out here. I will say the heat will increase throughout the day, and so will the winds. For most of southern Manitoba, we're going to have very high 28, 27 degrees in temperatures. When northern Manitoba, it's going to be in the low ranges. Anything between 15 to 19 degrees will be their highs today. I do want to note right now in Dauphin is very sunny with 16 degrees for them. Portage at 15 degrees and Brandon 13 degrees. They're facing some very cloudy conditions at the moment. The PA is actually facing some light rain shower according to Environment and Climate Change Canada. That could be on the go for us here in Winnipeg as well as much of southern Manitoba due to that 60% chance of precipitation in the late part of the afternoon as well as a risk of a thunderstorm. So we're going to have this intense heat, very intense winds and potentially a thunderstorm. But it might be those very short bursts. Yesterday when I took a walk, it lasted about 10 minutes at the most. So we might have a mixed bag of sunshine, a bit of cloud coverage, increasing cloud coverage throughout the morning and throughout the afternoon. So just keep that of note when planning out your day and traveling about if you want to visit some great Folklorama pavilions. And looking at our beautiful pick of the day from Alan. How cute is this bunny? Such a cutie patootie. Please keep the pictures coming at Winnipeg Weather at ctv.ca.
Weather is brought to you by Canadian Footwear, helping you find the perfect fit.
The White Show is one of my favorite summer and winter spots in Manitoba. Honestly, it's great all year long. Something that I haven't done, though, horseback riding at Falcon Beach Ranch. Now I'm just dying to try it. Joining me now is one of its owners, Devin Emery. Good morning, Devin.
Morning, Ainsley. Thanks for having me on the show.
This is an awesome shot, Devin. Where exactly are you?
I'm standing in amongst the corral with a bunch of my friends here at Falcon Beach Ranch, located just outside the Falcon Lake town site in the Whiteshell Provincial Park.
And what can people do there? It's packed with activities.
Absolutely. It's a great place to visit for people of all ages and abilities, families. We have farm animals for kids to interact with, pony rides for them to go on, and then people can do probably our most popular activity is a 1-hour trail ride on our beautiful trail network through the boreal forest here on some of these really nice horses I have behind me here. And we have log cabins if people want to stay a little longer than a day. we even take trail rides to the site of the famous Falcon Lake UFO encounter. So there's a wide range of things for all abilities.
And I understand that this is a year-round thing, too. There's other activities throughout the winter?
That's right. We're here year-round. We're open 7 days a week, year-round, and people can do horseback riding in the winter. They can also do sleigh rides. We have a beautiful sleigh ride loop through the forest with a stop for hot chocolate and a warm-up at a fire. So really fun place to come in the wintertime and any time of year.
Something that I always want to personally rally around is a family business, and I understand that there's been some generational pieces to this.
Absolutely. I'm the second generation, I suppose you'd say, and we're bringing up the third generation here currently. The ranch has been in the Emery family for since the late 70s, and most of these horses are born and raised here as well. So it's a family-owned and operated business from the ground up, and we employ a number of wonderful summer staff here to help make sure people have a great experience.
So say someone's watching right now and they're on the fence because they're saying, this looks really cool, but I'm totally a beginner. Can you help that person?
Absolutely. I mean, we specialize in that. Most of our clientele has minimal riding experience, so first-time riders are absolutely welcome. We have really calm horses to match you up with, and our experienced guides will coach you through the process and be with you on the trail to help you out if your horse grabs a bite of grass. And then absolutely we can cater to more experienced riders as well, looking to have a little bit more speed or more adventure in their rides. But any ability will have a great time here.
Thank you so much. Darn, we have such a beautiful province. This has been brought to you by Travel Manitoba.
This story of escape started as a baby bear sighting.
It's a tiny little baby. It is so cute. I wonder if the mom is inside. Oh. There's people in there. No, that's a bear in the car. That's a bear in
This family in Tennessee first noticed a cub standing on top of their Jeep. They then realized there was another bear stuck inside. The family wisely stayed out of the car, then used their key, or this car, and then used their key to remotely open the trunk. The stuck bear then climbed out and headed back to the woods with the cub. Taking a look outside on McPhillips, traffic's starting to pick up. We're going to take a quick breather, but we'll be right back with more CTV Your Morning Winnipeg.
15 degrees right now, mostly cloudy outside. Winds gusting southwest at 9 kilometers per hour. The pressure is rising and the humidity is sitting at 83%. Not too much to show you on our satellite image besides that low pressure system that's already tapered into parts of the province coming in from the west, and that's why we have that 60% chance of precipitation for the late afternoon, as well as that risk of a thunderstorm. But for Winnipeg, 28 degrees is our high today, with winds gusting southwest anywhere between 30 to 50 kilometers per hour, so quite intense winds, and those clouds will increase throughout the day according to Environment and Climate Change Canada, with that risk of a thunderstorm in the late afternoon. But by the evening time, that risk will still be there, as well as that risk for 60% chance of precipitation in the form of light rain or showers could last anywhere between 10 to 15 to 20 minutes. It's been doing short bursts. In fact, in Thompson this morning, it only lasted about 25 minutes with some very light rain shower. Winds will be gusting northwest at 40 to 60 kilometers per hour, so the winds will increase throughout the evening time. After midnight, they will decrease and go to northwest at 20 kilometers per hour, but that's after midnight. And it will be a high of 13 degrees. And looking into tomorrow, sunshine is on the way. 23 degrees is going to be our high. Very mild temperatures is what we can expect. Our seasonal average is usually about 26. So it'll be 3 degrees shy from that, but it's going to be mostly sunshine on the way. Winds gusting northwest at 20 kilometers per hour. So it'll be a nice sunny day to head out. And looking to the rest of next 5 days, it's just going to be sunshine with mostly dry conditions on the go with these mild temperatures, anything between 23 to 25 degrees.
The Winnipeg Police Service will hold a news conference this morning to detail results of a 10-day drug enforcement blitz held in June of this year. WPS Chief Gene Bowers and Mayor Scott Gillingham are among those scheduled to speak on the full results of the blitz. Shortly after enhanced enforcement began, the city released results covering the first few days, which targeted open drug use in public places, drug trafficking, and possession. Some community groups questioned this approach, saying the blitz targeted the vulnerable unfairly. Others in the business community applauded the initiative and asked that it be made permanent. Last week, Chief Bowers told a news conference he sees a place for enforcement and a place for harm reduction in any future plans. The union representing Winnipeg transit workers is speaking out after one of its members was allegedly stabbed with a needle.
A driver this morning, he was driving his bus en route, and when he was stopped at William and Isabel, a passenger just came up before getting off the bus and literally stabbed him twice.
James Van Gerwen, the president of ATU, says it's just the latest violent transit incident reported to the union. Van Gerwen is calling for fully enclosed shields to be installed to protect drivers. A statement from the city of Winnipeg says since 2017, it's spent more than $9.6 million on transit safety. It says shields will be included in its 2027 budget submission.
Drivers are frustrated. They're feeling unsafe, and you know, it's going to affect the amount of members we have to drive the bus.
Winnipeg police tell CTV News it's aware of the incident and will be providing further information at a later date. The owners of a farm in Quebec were scammed for more than $20,000. They got taken by what looked like a large catering order and a credit card that at first seemed to go through. CTV's Denise Roberts has more.
Alana Cosgrove is new to the farming business and all that it entails. But working alongside husband Matt Penny, she says it's a labor of love.
We said, hey, let's go for it, and it would be a wonderful way to raise our kids.
Pengrove Farms in Hudson includes a farm shop where they sell locally produced, high-quality meats and other products. In April, they received an order from an alleged catering company for a large order of meat.
When the credit card went through, it didn't flag us as being, suspicious, even though it was a large order.
The farm fulfilled 2 orders totaling $20,000, processed online through their point-of-sale terminal, Square. But in May, they found out from Square the charges were fraudulent.
So they were advising us that all these charges that they had approved were now fraudulent charges that the original cardholder was disputing.
And Pengrove Farms was on the hook. The couple says Square gave them 48 hours to pay them back.
They started coming after us for immediate seizures of the entire funds of the order.
They have seized a substantial amount of money that they are holding until we agree to terms of payment.
But it's more than the couple say they can afford. Their insurance won't cover the cost, so they set up a GoFundMe. Their story sparked a lot of local support, and they say they've heard from other businesses who have also been a victim to this scam.
These processing companies don't protect small businesses.
Square says it cannot comment on this specific case, but that fraudsters exploiting small businesses is a serious problem and causes real harm. When a seller has been a victim of buyer fraud, we work with them directly, case by case. The couple say they want to see policy changes to protect small businesses from these scams. They're also making some changes in their shop.
Well, for right now, we're not taking any cards at all. We only take cash and e-transfer.
A costly lesson to learn. Denise Roberts, CTV News.
Traffic at a red light there on Pembina Highway. No traffic alerts to pass along, but if you have any, text them to us at 10400. And taking a look at your gas prices here in Winnipeg, the average is $1.70 and the lowest price in the city $1.61. All this information is on GasBuddy.com.
The Price at the Pump is brought to you by the Kidney Foundation. Help by donating your card today.
All right, let's check your answers to our question of the day. Have you ever felt pressured to buy something? Susan was forced to buy a fold-up bed, but she says wonderful sleeps. Trevor says, yes, I got pressured into repairing my windshield recently. I've eventually fixed it free of charge. Marlene shared, I'm more pressured to not shop. Sometimes I'm pressured as well, but it's all good. Lindsay feels pressured to buy every time Ticketmaster announces her favorite rock or metal bands are coming to Winnipeg. Unkty texted, we got pressured into buying our son a PS5. He was asking since it came out, and we finally caved in and got him one. And Billy says, yes, they were in LA and almost pressured into buying, oh no, a timeshare. Thank you all for your responses.
Question of the day, brought to you by Provivo, Manitoba's #1 cool sculpting clinic. Science-backed body contouring.
And we turn back to CTV's Ainsley McPhail live this morning at the Irish Pavilion. We caught a little dance in the last segment. More of that on tap?
Well, you know what? Well, there's a lot on tap at the Irish Pavilion. But there is a strong correlation between hearing a fiddle and seeing a foot tap. I don't know what it is. It's a lively group. Donald is joining me alongside all of Encore. Thank you so much for being here today. And of course, our wonderful Irish dancers. Tell us about Encore.
Yeah, so we're a local Winnipeg group based here in Winnipeg. We try to bring the energy every show we can, really get the fiddle involved, get the feet tapping, get people clapping, and have a lot of fun along the way playing the Irish tunes.
See, I wasn't wrong about that. How has it been so far? Because audiences are really loving you. What's the feedback?
It's been really fun. Honestly, I think the Irish Pavilion is something really special coming here, and one of our favorite parts, my personal favorite part, is the kind of big grand finale. We got the dancers on stage, got the band having a lot of fun with the crowd, get the crowd involved, get them engaged. It's a lot of fun, and I think that's what keeps people coming back to the Irish Pavilion.
And what a cool combination of sound, too. You've got so many instruments and, of course, the fiddle.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, our fantastic friend Doozy on the fiddle is leading the way with a lot of these tunes. He's a very great fiddle player, and I think he really guides the way on a lot of those tunes. A lot of the traditional Irish pieces is such a prominent instrument, and so we just try to have some fun along the way with him and kind of rock out together.
I love it. What are we hearing today?
Today we're going to do a little bit of a collab. The dancers are doing a nice number called Treble Reel, and we're going to do a kind of outro take of Finnegan's Wake. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Okay, let's see it. Hear it.
Hats off to that dance crew. Fantastic work, hey?
Yeah, that looks super cool. So incredible. Incredible
Absolutely.
dancers.
Getting a little hot out there today. What can we expect?
Yes, it's going to heat up. Not heating up right now. It's heating up slowly at the moment, but it will come quick in the afternoon time. 27 degrees by the time it's 2 p.m. 28 degrees is going to be our high today, but currently it's 15 degrees. Mostly cloudy outside, but the beautiful sunshine is peeking through. Winds gusting southwest at 9 kilometers per hour. The pressure is rising, and the humidity is sitting at 83%. Across the province, we're going to have that mix of sunshine and cloud coverage. I will say for the greater part of southern Manitoba, that cloud coverage will increase throughout the afternoon, according to Environment and Climate Change Canada. So we might not get as much sunshine peeking through, but there will be bits of sunshine here and there. It would be a great time to go out and take a walk. It will be quite hot, 28 degrees as I mentioned, the high. Most of southern Manitoba will be in those high 20s. For northern Manitoba, they're facing very cool temperatures today. Highs between 15 to 19 degrees. In fact, right now in the PA, it's 12 degrees, and they're experiencing some light rain shower. That could be on the go for us here in southern Manitoba, 60% chance. So just pack that raincoat, umbrella just in case. But they've been coming in very short bursts, so it won't be a long time of thunderstorm. We're taking a break right now, but don't go anywhere. We got more CTV Your Morning Winnipeg on the other side.
Have a news tip? When you see news happening, let CTV News Winnipeg know. Text your tips, pictures, and videos to 10400. That's 10400. Message and data rates may apply.
Young golfers had the chance to hit the links and learn the game of golf in Ottawa. CTV's Dylan Dyson shows us just what these athletes are facing in an already difficult sport.
Also, you might know more than me.
Keep your eye on the ball. It's sound advice for golfers if you can see it.
I'm going to do this if that's where the ball is, okay?
For 14-year-old Ollie Acosta Pickering, it's all about feel.
As a person with no vision, I normally use a lot of my sound and touch capabilities.
On Wednesday, Ontario Blind Golf hosted a golf camp for visually impaired kids excited to learn the game.
We want to make sure that kids have access to as many sports as possible, even though they may have various disabilities. So with vision loss, we're finding ways to adapt the sport.
Today's purpose is to get them to learn how to hit a ball, which they never had.
Professional blind golfer Kevin Frost has tunnel vision, which looks something like this, making a difficult sport even tougher.
When I hit the ball, I don't see where it goes. I look back at my guide and he said, oh, it's in the fairway or it's in the trees.
But today isn't about putting the ball in the cup. For Ollie, who went blind at the age of 8 due to a rare form of blood cancer, today is about pursuing his passions.
I decided that after I became blind, I would do all the sports I could to just try and kind of hold on to my original life of doing all kinds of different things as a sighted person.
Now I'm going to try hitting some with these tunnel vision glasses that Kevin says is how he sees every day and while he's playing golf.
I clearly need to practice the feel for the sport that Ollie is addicted to.
Once you get the good feeling of success, it just kind of can't really go away, and then you just want to keep doing it.
Dylan Dyson, CTV News.
It's the perfect time of year to hop on a bike or lace up your walking shoes and check out some of the incredible public artwork our city has to offer. And the Winnipeg Arts Council is hosting walking and biking tours this summer to get you outside to explore Winnipeg. Joining us now is the Council's Public Art Manager, Tamara Ray Biebrick. Thank you so much for coming in this morning.
Yeah, thanks for inviting us and helping us get the word out.
Absolutely. Now, to start off, talk a little bit about the different types of public art our Winnipeg has.
Oh, you know, we have so many amazing artists here and community members who express themselves creatively. And so we have sculptural works, we have murals, we have banners. Sometimes we'll do kind of temporary performances or installations. Sometimes we'll have a giant fountain in Millennium Library Park, empty full, or we'll have the ghost of a streetcar in front of City Hall. So there's all sorts of things to discover all around the city.
You guys have been doing these walking tours for walking and biking tours for years, drawing, you know, as you were mentioning before we came on air, hundreds of people each year. How do these tours work?
You know what? It's set up really great where we work with a different tour guide for a few years. Chloe Card is an architecture student who's leading them for us this year. Basically, you just sign up on our website, winnipegarts.ca, or through Eventbrite. It's free. We set up a map and a list of artworks that we're going to visit, and then you just bring your kind of friends and neighbors. Sometimes it's visitors to the city, and we go out onto the streets of Winnipeg, walk around on parks, visit libraries, seeing art all around the city. And what's really great is that our tour guide wants to hear from everybody because everybody brings kind of different ideas, different perspectives to artwork. So we talk a little bit about the artist's intention and the behind the scenes stories, which is always kind of fun things about construction that you learn, or about complications around the site or whatnot. But then Chloe makes sure that she asks you what you think about the art, and so you get to learn from your neighbors kind of what they bring to it as well. So it's just like a really fun way to get out and to get to know your city and your neighbors.
And a lot of these pieces, you know, are rooted in either Winnipeg's stories or places? You kind of touched on that with maybe, a background on them, but what's a good example of a piece of art, with a truly Winnipeg story?
Well, I think the Roostertown Kettle has become quite iconic. It was one of the works that we commissioned along the new rapid transitway, the Blue Line, and it's close to the Métis community of Roostertown that was there throughout the early 1900s, but was displaced for the development of Grant Park Mall. But it's really great because it talks about Métis hospitality and how there's always kind of a kettle, and if somebody knocks at the door, come on in, have a cup of tea. But it also talks about unequal access to water on different communities, and especially First Nations across the country. So it's great that art can be in some ways this simple icon that kind of catches your eye, but there's always stories behind it that you can learn a little bit more about your community and the land that we live on.
And this is also, it gets people outside, it gets them active. Exercise and art, you may not always tie those two things together, but they do work, hey?
Yeah, they really do, and we're lucky to partner with Bike Winnipeg, who helps to marshal and lead our bike tours. So they help us develop the maps so that you can learn about different bike paths around the city. There's marshals who are making sure that everybody's getting through traffic safely, and it's kind of like a slow pace so that anybody who wants to try it can go out. But it's a great way, just to get moving, to get around the city and maybe learn something or see parts of the city that you're not aware of.
And folks at home, if this tour schedule doesn't work for you, the Arts Council actually has an app online, and you can take self-guided tours anytime. Tamara, thank you so much for joining us today, and hope to see you out on a tour soon.
Thank you. You too.
And this week will be a great time to take one of those tours. 15 degrees right now, mostly cloudy outside, but that sun's peeking through beautifully. Winds gusting southwest at 9 kilometers per hour. The pressure is rising and the humidity is sitting at 83%. Looking at our satellite image, as I mentioned before, we do have this low pressure system that's been forming just west of us. It's likely to taper into the province. It's already started doing so. Thompson, the PAR, they've been experiencing some light rain shower. Thompson ended for about 20 minutes, about 6 a.m. The PAR, it's currently receiving the light rain shower at the moment. But for here in Winnipeg, we do have that chance. 60% chance of that in the later part of the afternoon, as well as a risk of thunderstorms. But looking at our 7-day forecast, today our high is going to be 28 degrees, so quite intense heat. Just want to keep that in mind when traveling about. And the winds will also be gusting quite intensely, anything between 30 to 50 kilometers per hour. Looking into tomorrow, it's going to be 23 degrees as our high, with sunshine on the way. On the go for the rest of the week is just sunshine on tap, with those mid-mild temperatures in the high 20s and 24s. We're taking a break right now, but we'll be back with more CTV Your Morning Winnipeg.
Rooftop arrangements provided by Lacoste Garden Center. Salon services provided by Essentique Spa Salon.
Wrap up this morning with some fun videos, and we begin with a summer treat for some lucky kids. These are the Kendi grandkids sitting in the mouth of their family farm's excavator, and yep, it's Grandpa operating it and dumping them into the water. His family says this is how he makes regular hot summer days feel like magic. It's a little scary,
it's a bit
to be
scary.
honest. A little scary.
Fun, but
don't try that at home, folks. Now, this video is for all the procrastinators out there.
I do this right now, but I'm not mentally prepared, so I'm gonna do it later. No, it's later. I could do the thing now, but I prefer to view the monstrosities of the world through this tiny rectangle. Okay, well, I can't do the thing now.
Feeling a little bit seen, this woman shows just how easy it is to delay an easy task. Instead of doing it, she doom scrolls on her phone, watches TV, goes to bed because it's too late, then wakes up and starts the whole procrastinating process all over again.
That is me.
Definitely guilty of that.
Yes.
And finally, we finish off with a cute but probably the worst guard dog ever.
Back door. Right back here. On this table.
So this big guy, he loves delivery drivers and leads them to his back porch to the spot the package needs to be placed. He then poses perfectly for a photo as proof that he helped.
You look great.
It's pretty cute.
Okay, Big Ben. See if you can catch me.
Well, that's going to wrap it up for today, but enjoy that heat out there, folks, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.